Of 16 to run here, Peter, in this Group 2 race. And it's Ildon, the favourite, at $5 ahead of our Unicorn. Prince Standard, a big odds for a last-up feature race winner, $16. Backdrop at 17. And Guardian Angel, the most fancied of those horses, at $12. That's horse number
3 is our Unicorn, one of the most talked-about horses of the spring. And will he finally make his way into the field for the Foster's Melbourne Cup on Tuesday? He needs to run first or second to qualify.
He's racing. Chatham missed it probably about a length today. Otherwise, they jumped in a fair line. Second coming, Prince Iluka, El Barami, Sports Circuit and Prince Standard. A line of 5 at the winning post the first time. Lisa's Game in the blue colours over on the fence about 6th. Bridal Man 4 deep. Brilliant Poet and Ildon in a bit of trouble there. They both had to shift back through the field when checked. Backdrop wide out of the straight. Starbinder gets a wide out of the straight. Starbinder gets a clear run through on the inside. Chatham backdrops midfield and also covering ground. It's Prince Standard in front, running to the 800 by a length. Second coming, but away from the rails. 2 lengths, Prince Iluka, Sports Circuit third. Albarami's up between Bridal Man and on the inside Starbinder, then Chatham. Backdrop was wide from Zdenka. Vitronite going forward from Ildon, and then came Brilliant Poet, our Unicorn, back second last under the whip from Lisa's Game, who shuffled right out of it. And Guardian Angel the inside into the straight. Second coming issues the challenge. Prince Iluka going up 3 wide on the inside. Prince Standard. 2 lengths to Starbinder, then came Zdenka, Albarani and Chatham into the clear. 300 left to go. It's Prince Iluka. Second coming, Prince Standard, and Starbinder's after them. 2 lengths away Zdenka, and then our Unicorn. Prince Iluka, Starbinder the outside. Starbinder swept up to hit the lead. Second coming, battling on strongly, but it's Starbinder in front from second coming, and Prince Iluka, and Starbinder will win. Starbinder by a length to second coming. Prince Iluka's run third. Prince Standard battled on again from Chatham, and then our Unicorn Zdenka. Ildon never in it, but was trapped wide. So was Backdrop, and then Brilliant Poet, Lisa's Game. Vitronite didn't give a yelp. $20.70 the official win return for Starbinder. $5.70 the place. Second coming, $7.10. And Prince Iluka, $18.70. Quinella paid $286.20. The trifecta, $25,815 even, and the race rate
125 to 150 to 1. Ildon was the unplaced favourite at 7 to 2, and Starbinder not in the Melbourne Cup.
No, John, but he was a Sandown Cup winner last season, and I think John Maher will be aiming to win back-to-back Sandown Cups with him.
2,000 metre start for the Qantas Wakeful Stakes, Dan.
Still double figure odds for Grand Archway. Pete, Rose of War, a solid favourite here, $3.20. $12 Confer, $7 Rose of Dane, which is number 5. She's out to good odds. One of the top picks for Thursday's Oaks. Curio Jade, Say Good, No Alimony at $5.50. Zaza Bell at $12.40 from the Cummings camp, and My Jasper, trained by Anthony Cummings, at $23.
You stand to lose plenty if Rose of War salutes. It's the only one they've backed. But
There are the selections. Interest only at the value from Jen. Rose of War from Richard.
Now they're racing. Fair line, interest only a little bit slow, so too Grand Archway. Zar Royale jumped well, as did Say Goodbye. Now, getting checked there was Mike Jasper. Say Good Morning going through on the inside of Zar Royale. In third spot, Confer. Rose of War was handy. Zaza Bell's out 4 wide going forward. Grand Archway pushes the inside of Love to Wanna. About 10 lengths first to last with 1,000 metres to go. Zaza Bell the leader by a length and a half. Rose of War up to second now. Third, Say Good Morning. Zar Royale fourth. And Confer fifth on the inside from Grand Archway. Interest only starting its move. Rose of Dane on the inside from Oak Stream, and No Alimony 3 deep. Del Quarren next, and then My Jasper in the orange colours, who's back third last. Love to Wanna 3 deep, and Curio Jade at the rear of the field. 600 metres to go. And it's Zaza Bell in front, 3/4 of a length to the favourite Rose of War. Say Good Morning third, the inside. Interest only goes up 3 deep. Around the outside was Oak Stream. Zar Royale. Grand Archway was next. Confer looking for the rails run. And then came No Alimony working into the race. Inside the 400. And Rose of War goes up to Zaza Bell. Say Good Morning. Zar Royale was next. Grand Archway trying to get clear, and then came Love to Wanna. 200 to go. Rose of War hit the lead from Zar Royale. Grand Archway running on. Rose of War the leader. Confer getting out. Grand Archway wider out. Rose of War, Confer, Grand Archway. Say Good Morning. Rose of War in front. Grand Archway pegging it back. Grand Archway doing better and got up. Grand Archway won it from a great go for the Miners. Rose of War, Confer, and Rose of Dane got to the line strongly. Then Say Good Morning, who battled on well. Then came Love to Wanna, Del Quarren, Zar Royale, Zaza Bell. Further back to interest only weakening from Curio Jade, My Jasper, Oak Stream, and No Alimony also dropped out of it.
By Oaks Dream, pull to the outside. Confer needing to get out, is pocketed and can't go anywhere. At the 300 still, the leader is Zaza Bell, but Rosa War pounces on it now, and at the 200 strikes the front. Confers in the clear. Say Good Morning's now held up. Grand Archway coming, and then Zar Royale. It's Rosa War just the leader. Grand Archway swamping it out wide, and Grand Archway's got up to win. Rosa War might have held second. Confer and Rose of Dane have both run on well, and Confer was very...
Great win to a Grand Archway ridden by Opie Boss, and what a great rider he is, Dan. War is outside now. Shane Dye's directly behind there in the purple. He's having a bit of trouble, and she seems to want to duck back in behind here. She's got no room again there. Now she gets into the clear. Just racing a little bit green.
Now, Rose of Dane having trouble getting around there. Yes. Seems to cop a little bit of interference from Grand Archway, who shifted in initially and then shifts out near the post, the winner. I would suggest creating some sort of problem for Rose of Dane.
Yes, there's a little bit of tightening there, just on the line again.
Stable, and to win this race today, we thought she'd win, and ended up that way.
The extra 500 on Thursday is going to suit her right down to the ground by the look of that.
I think what beats her will win the Oaks. You know, she's just had no luck, a little bit of unluck lately, and it was a good ride by Oaks. You know, if he got beat, I'd have crucified him, but I mean, he got into the clear, and she certainly outstayed them.
How do you rate him as a jockey? Because there are huge raps on Opie Bosson.
He's better than Shane Dye. He's ridden 6 Group 1 winners, 128 winners. But Shane told me, he said he'll get too heavy, so he won't be better than him. But he's got to go. We won't make that decision.
$11.70 for the win and $3.40 for the place. Rosa War, $1.70. Confer, $3.50. The trifecta,
He started at 8 to 1, 2 to 1 favourite Rose of War, and 10 to 1 Confer, which didn't get a lot of room in the run home, Simon.
No, not at all. There was a couple of hard luck stories in the race. Not only Confer, I thought Rose of Dane was a big run. Got held up at the top of the straight at one stage, and you just see Greg Hall coming out in the Doremus colours going wop, wop, wop with the whip there. He just didn't get the room that he wanted to, I thought, over the last 100 metres. She probably should have nearly won the race, but Opie Bosson was out in the open, summed it up terrifically well. Lovely hands and heels, too, going to the line before he actually got it to a top, Darren. He possesses the qualities to be as good as what they say.
Yeah, he's an outstanding rider and got a great future. But I think there was a few hard luck stories, but we haven't mentioned Rosa War. She had to sort of make 2 or 3 runs throughout the race, take the field up in the straight. I thought there's a lot of merit in her run, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her win the Oaks.
Big race. I thought Bazille Bay, if he jumped out, let him stride, I thought he was the one to beat. You like Pleasure Giver?
Yes, I thought his run in the Theo Marks was very good when he won, and he beat...
Even Cut Up Rough 31, Blazing Steel $7.20, Sir Boom $26.60, Bazille Bay $3.30, Pleasure Giver $11.20, Confess Rev sells them. The Most Fancy Classic Day at $15.30, Zar Hero at $12.40, and the rest are at pretty big odds. That's the
1998. Racing now. Even break, Blazing Steel at the back early. Monet's Cove jumped in front. Rancho Spark ridden hard along the inside to go up and hit the lead now. A little wider was Bazille Bay. Zar Hero going forward. Likewise Holtzman, and over on the inside. It's about 16 lengths off the lead. 800 to go. Rancho Spark led a length. Bazille Bay. Classic Day third. Monet's Cove is running fourth. Zar Hero 3 deep. A length away Saboom, 3 wide around Holtzman and Cut Up Rough on the rails. Then Major Victory before the home turn. Pleasure Giver outside of it from Inauguration, Confiscate, Monopolise, Litmus. 4 to Blazing Steel and Galactic Valley. Into the straight at the 500. Rancho Spark the leader by a length to Bazille Bay. In third spot, Classic Day ridden along, getting off the rails. Monet's Cove outside it, then Zar Hero. Cut Up Rough was next. Holtzman, Sir Beam, Major Victory and Pleasure Giver. Bazille Bay goes up to Rancho Spark at the 200. 2 lengths Classic Day. Then Monet's Cove, Major Victory, Pleasure Giver, but Bazille Bay goes for home, and he's got the last shot to bits. He's careering away from Rancho Spark. Major Victory, Pleasure Giver running home hard late, but Bazille Bay wins it easily. Bazille Bay by 6 lengths. Second home, Pleasure Giver. Third, Rancho Spark. Monopolised, made up ground, then Major Victory, Classic Day, Litmus. Monet's Cove, Boom, Zar Hero, Blazing Steel next. Then Cut Up Rough, Galactic Valley, Inauguration, Confiscate, and Holtzman dropped right out of it.
Well, a brilliant win. Beautiful ride. I noticed Jim Cassidy early in the race, he was trying, and Pleasure Giver, by gee, he got home very well. He'd be one to watch the last day on that 1600 metre race.
Yeah, good win, Bazille Bay. He was unearthed at this carnival last year. He won a restricted grade race by about as far as he did today, but there were some pretty handy horses behind him today.
Oh, too right.
A couple of horses got, well, you would think just too far back 15 and 16 lengths off the lead in a 1400-metre race. Surely that's, well, that's a lot of...
Wait till we let him go, mate. He's pretty good this bloke.
You said that last year. You said this is one of the best horses you've ridden. He's ran 1:20.8 today, just a tick outside the track record. You could have broke it.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's headwind and everything. He's done the donkey work, sat outside the leader, and, mate, wait till the last day. It'll show.
He's in the last day as well, Jimmy?
Runs in the Emirates Mile, mate.
He's going to be pretty hard to beat, isn't he?
He will, for sure.
Yeah, good luck, Jimmy. You're having a great...
90 and 170. Look the bet of the day. Pleasure give it 280. Rancho Spark 990. Trifecta 6...
Your peepers upon one of the most exciting sprinters in the land, Bazile Bay.
Corners in front of Bazile Bay.
Supermarket get the entry form in. Now they're nearly ready for the Salinger. Let's go down to Pete and Jenny.
Now, Jen, the stalls are actually in the middle of the track as well.
Yes, they've changed once again, so we've got very...
Oh,
it's a fantastic field. Any of the 11 horses competing in this race certainly have a chance.
Well, let's see, by Greg Childs, and this horse ran 4th of 5 behind Show No Emotion in the Churnside, was beaten less than a length by the winner and making up ground.
He also ran 3rd in...
Plenty of activity down here. In particular, there's been a bit of a drifter. The favourite Theatre has certainly got the drifts a little bit. There's been good money, though, for number 7, Scandinavia. At the moment, $5.90 on the tote, much shorter in the betting ring. So if you can get on the TAB on your phone account, it's the one you want to get on. It's the value in the race. And there has been specking too late for number 9 Staging. It's in about 4 or 5 points from good each-way odds.
So Scandinavia, well, the punters in the ring are following Jen's suggestion. Tauke from the Freedman stable.
And they're away and racing now. Dandelar jumped out pretty well. Magic Music is going to come down the grandstand side by herself. Theatre jumped okay, and away pretty well was Scandinavia. Showing some speed in the early part. Dandelar's going to race up on the outside of Theatre, a length away, right out of the track, and Magic Music on her lonesome down the grandstand side. Theatre on the flat side and Dandelar together. Paints about a half a length away third. Between runners Tauke, and on the inside was Rock You. Then Scandinavia midfield from that group, and Malagua wider from Staging, Flavour, Rebel, and Magic Music down the grandstand side. Dandelar took the lead from Theatre, put under pressure. Paint third. Tauke looking for a run. Scandinavia, Malagua, and further out on the track was Rebel. It's Dandelar in front from Paint, Scandinavia, and Tauke and Magic Music down the grandstand side. Scandinavia going to Dandelar. Scandinavia took the lead. Flavour late. Scandinavia and Flavour, they go to the line. Oh, it's close. Flavour's put in the big bob near the post. Flavour and Scandinavia in a thriller. Third is close. There's a number of them there. Rebel, Tauke and Theatre. Right off the track was Magic Music, not far off Malagua. Taint, and then Dandelar weakening late. Staging and Rock You.
Oh, I'm not going to enter to this one down.
Theatre is headed by Dandelar. Painters next. Here comes Scandinavia with a run on the outside now. Dandelar from Theatre, Paint, Tauke and Scandinavia at the 100 metres. Flavour's coming home well. Scandinavia's hit the front though. Flavour coming at it. Flavour or Scandinavia, I'm not sure. Very close. Tauke might have got...
Tight finish.
Big win.
4th in number 10, Theatre. 5th in was number 3, Dandelar, who weak. And here's the...
He's, been a real honest horse. He was only 25,000 of a million before today, so he's over the million now, and never perhaps been a big name horse, but he's a real racehorse, so it's great for the horse to win.
A Group 1, isn't he?
And they are $14.90 and $4 even. I think Dan's collecting. Scandinavia $2.20, Tauke $2.90.
I'm disappointed that the Salinger has lost ground to the Emirates on Thursday. We've got Toledo, General Nadim, and also Show No Emotion going around Thursday. This should be the new market of the spring. It no longer is. I'd be disappointed if I was Salinger. I know I sound negative today, but I feel this race has lost some ground. Terrific has lost some ground. Terrific finish, but to me, Flavour's a very good Group 2 horse.
Definitely the B grade stays, as Bruce pointed out. I think
there's been a change, hasn't there? Yeah, the Emirates they've changed the distance from 1400 to 1200 on Oaks Day, and I think they've rejigged the importance of this race in the spring. It was the new market of the spring. That wasn't the new market yesterday of the spring. That was the second, very good by the way, but the second division.
Yeah, I think there's merit to your comments there, Bruce.
Flavour got there by a whisker at 12 to 1, 4 to 1 Scandinavia, Tauke third at 8 to 1, and the favourite Theatre at 3s. Tough race for 3-year-olds, that one, eh?
Very much so, especially in a Group 1 race down the straight at Flemington. I believe the Ascot Vale Stakes is a bit of a graveyard for 3-year-olds to then go on, John, and I believe it with Group 1 races, especially being a Salinger Open, down the straight for 3-year-olds. It's a tough ask, it's a tough assignment. Look, Theatre's You know, he didn't lose any merit in his constitution that suggests he's a good horse, and he's going to be later on. He's a phenomenal horse on what he's done. But Johnny Sadler, bad luck, buddy. And it's 3 times you've run second in the Group 1. Hang in there, mate. You'll get there.
Brush up on tomorrow's Derby, where he'll ride Leading Light for Bart Cummings.
I don't even know what colour it is, right? And we play by ear.
But as usual, Di has done his homework and had one parting shot for his international rival.
But it's a very open derby. Anyone can win it, you know. I wouldn't be surprised 6 or 7 can win. I haven't seen a derby like this in a long, long time. And they're all good chances.
What about mine?
No, no hope.
Anthony Mithen, 10 News.
You know, Anthony, all eyes on tomorrow's Derby, but there has been a Melbourne Cup betting plunge this afternoon.
There certainly has, Stephen, and it's all money for the internationals. Persian Punch today sensationally backed in from 14 to 1 to 10 to 1, and I'm told the 10 to 1 won't stand up too much longer either. Faithful Son also backed into 9 to 2, and there won't be much of that left. So Persian...
Tomorrow Lawyer's got a great chance.
Yeah.
Run race, horses like Runaway can't win because they'll pull too hard, but if it's fast run race, he can win, definitely.
I think he ran extremely well.
And is definitely going to be in the race, and I think Wellington possibly might be the outsider. Let's take a look at the latest tote call as they go to the gates with Dan Malicki on the Amy Victoria Derby.
One of 5 horses in single figures, Mossman, Arena, Lawyer at 470. Equal favourite with Sky Heights, 520 for Runaway. The second page mainly with long shots here. $29 mark for number 11, Typhoon. Huge pulls in both.
As you said, there's 5 horses under double figure odds and all have had support. In particular, number 2, Arena, there has shortened up quite alarmingly with the bookmakers, but I tell you now, they're jumping out of the trees to get on Sky Heights. Number 6, Sky Heights, will run the pronounced favourite, but as I...
Sobo was trapped wide on the first turn in the Derby, and that was the end of him. There are the selections.
Gates crash back and away they go now. And Mossman jumped well from Bet on a Road, Lawyer. Wajib Star ridden forward today. Sky Heights will be back about midfield by the winning post the first time. Hamlet is wide and pressing forward. Receptor, Mithranda ease back. Runaways back about 4th last on the inside. Then came Arena, Wellington, and about 3 or 4 lengths away last out of the straight was Typhoon. Another 2 to Receptor, then Mithranda, and 3 lengths away Typhoon. Inside the 1,000 metres, and it's Mossman in front, leading 3/4 of a length to Hamlet. 1.5 to Sky Heights, 3rd on the inside of Wajib Star. Bet on a Road 5th, and on the inside of it was Leading Light from Lawyer 7th. 1.5 away Solidity, then Runaway. Wellington working into it, then came Arena trying to get off the rails from Mithranda. Stolly wider out from Receptor and Typhoon last. 600 left to go, and it's Mossman turning for home in front of the Derby, leading by a length. Hamlet second, Sky Heights third, the inside now being asked the effort. Then Wajib Star, Lawyer running on, so too Runaway, and then Leading Light and Arena. Mossman left the fence at the 350. Sky Heights goes through on the inside of it. Arena running on, then came out wide Runaway and Wellington and Lawyer. Mossman in front, Arena after it. Wider out Lawyer and Runaway. Arena goes to Mossman, Sky Heights, Lawyer, and further out Runaway. Arena hit the lead on the Derby. It's drawn away from Lawyer, Sky Heights, and Arena's coming away. Arena wins the Derby by 2.5 lengths. Sky Heights has run second, Lawyer third, Mossman 4th, then Runaway in Wellington. Next in Hamlet, a long break to Typhoon. Then came Mithranda, Receptor, Wajib Star. Well back Leading Light with Stolly and Bet on a Road towards the tail of the field. Solidity's finished a long last.
Receptor when they corner. 500 left to go. Mossman the leader. Sky Heights going for the run on the fence. Running on now is Leading Light down the outside. And Arena's poking up on the fence. Here comes now Lawyer and Runaway. Mossman in front. Sky Heights on the rail with Arena coming home well at the 200 metres. Mossman tackled by Arena, who sprinted fast and has shot to the front. It's Arena now from Mossman, Sky Heights and Lawyer. It's Arena well clear though and will win the Derby brilliantly. Arena beats Sky Heights and Lawyer. Mossman 4th, then Runaway. Next Wellington.
And yes, he's raced up to Mossman. Sky Heights can't go on. Lawyer wider out, followed by Runaway. But Johnny Hawkes has got the Derby, I'd say. Yes, it's Arena. Holding Sky Heights and Lawyer at bay, and Arena. Arena wins the Derby, 2 lengths Sky Heights.
He rides some great races. Yes, he rides some great races, but I bet all his career he won't ride a better win than what he did then. He drew 14. He dropped across the back of them. He was running second last. He never left the fence until he got into the straight. He just kept coming along.
Just to drop straight back, leave him alone early because we know he can run the journey. It was just a matter of having luck in the running. All I can say, I made my own luck. Yeah, Larry, it was a great ride because you never went all you needed.
Did Willie run in the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, he ran in the Melbourne Cup, mate.
That was a solid staying effort today.
Yeah, lovely ride. He rode him very well, and you know, he'd always decided to go back. And but that was a race he was always brought to Melbourne for, to win the Derby. And he's always been a staying horse, and that's what we've always had in mind. And if he won the Derby, he was always to run the Melbourne Cup.
When you
Tim, Arena returns $8.60 and $2.80. Sky Heights $1.90 and Lawyer.
I reckon he didn't beat an octagonal. I say Nothing Like a Dane in '95 because he ran second in the Cup behind Doremus. But I reckon this run was probably more impressive than Nothing Like a Dane. I'm not saying Arena's a better horse. I'm not saying he had better form. I just think this particular run was a better Melbourne Cup trial than Nothing Like a Dane.
In the Cup, he's going to run the Cup, and he's bred to stay by Zabeel, Max. Yes, I agree with all of those points. I disagree with you, though, Bruce. I wouldn't say that Derby yesterday was anywhere near the quality of the Derby where Nothing Like a Dane beat Octagonal. However, it was still a very good Melbourne Cup trial. Basically, the Derby yesterday was full of immature 3-year-olds, and a lot of questions are being asked, should the Derby remain at 2,500 metres? Perhaps it should be shortened to 2,000 metres, but I do think that Arena's performance yesterday from Melbourne Cup point of view was outstanding.
It was. And Arena started at 15-2, 3-1 favourite Sky Heights. A terrific job at his first preparation, and Lawyer, very honest, he just doesn't know how to run a bad race, starting at 7-2. Well, gentlemen, he just couldn't have found the line any better than that.
No doubt whatsoever, Tappy, and I thought it aided by a fantastic ride. Same Larry Cassidy. Damien Oliver summed the race up extremely well. He gave Sky Heights every possible chance. I believe as an individual, Sky Heights will be a bigger and better horse next time in. What he done in this preparation was quite phenomenal. Because Alan Jones sent him to Colin Alderson and said he's immature. You'll be lucky to get one prep out of him. For him to run second in a Derby was great.
Yeah, well, Arena, I caught up with Wayne Hawkes after the race, and apparently the instructions were, Larry, go out there and ride it like a maiden. And he did ride it just with such confidence, that no care in the world, and it was a beautiful ride.
He'll make his presence felt on Tuesday.
Yeah, I understand they're going to run the horse in the Cup. We're not a great fan of doing that. I always think they can run the next year, but I see the Derby winners don't have a great record running as a 4-year-old. But look, I think the nature of the VRC Derby is that it's too long and too early. And you're going to see a lot of these horses that ran in the race, probably 80% of them, they're never going to run in a good race again. You know, and that's been the nature of the race. You know, I just think there's a...
And that is the Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes. 6 of the Melbourne Cup runners are engaged here. And see you later, Jen. Mirabilis, we spoke about this horse in the preview today. He is racing in his 10th country today. That is amazing. And, of course, he has the services of the world's premier jockey, Frankie Dettori. He's at... Yep.
And he really can perform. He's a genuine Group 2 performer. And I have seen him in Hong Kong, actually, when he was over there for the international race.
Forget she went around in the Caulfield Cup because she was poleaxed at the 200.
Yes, and I've got a lot of time for Champagne. She's a very good mare, and she gets...
The Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes.
Hardly a horse not really given a chance here, Pete. You can see numbers 4 and 6 are at huge odds. It's All in Fun and Markham. Otherwise, all other runners are given strong chances. Tie the Knot, however, is the favourite, number 7. Dodge, number 8, well in commission. Northern Drake out to $8. Fair Form, the New Zealand mare, and another New Zealand mare, and Champagne down the bottom at $8.20 as they fill the stalls. Tim Gossage, any late moves in the ring?
Well, initially it was Anis Mirabilis and Tie the Knot, almost each of 2 favourites. Now the money's come for Tie the Knot. It will run favourite, and there's also some late money for Northern Drake. Tie the Knot will jump favourite.
I did like the look of the international horse here, but I stuck with the locals. I went with Tie the Knot in front of Aerosmith, Northern...
Racing now. Oh, Markham missed him. Fair Form stayed in the gates and missed it 8 lengths. So Markham and Fair Form have just about missed it hopelessly. Champagne away well. Anis Mirabilis going forward and will lead. Aerosmith second. Champagne third. Northern Drake up to 4th outside. 100 left to go, and it's Anis Mirabilis out by 4 lengths, setting a very solid speed. Second is Aerosmith steadied. Anis Mirabilis getting further in front. Champagne third. 4th Tie the Knot. 5th Form as they head to the back. They've got 1,000 to go, and it's Anis Mirabilis doing a Vo Rogue. And it leads by about 8 lengths. Aerosmith second. Champagne third. Tie the Knot was running 4th. It's on the inside of Northern Drake. About 2 lengths to Marble Halls, and it's All in Fun. Then Markham, Catlin opening, Dodge, and a length and a half away, Fair Form. But Anis Mirabilis, 800 left to go as the leader by at least 6 lengths. Aerosmith is second. Champagne third. Tie the Knot on the inside of Northern Drake. Markham going up wide around It's All in Fun. Marble Hall's on the rails. Then Fair Form around Catlin opening and Dodgers last. About 8 off the lead as they came to the turn. Anis Mirabilis will lead into the straight. Champagne second. Aerosmith the inside third. Then Northern Drake. Markham's run a big race. Fair Form wider from Tie the Knot. Anis Mirabilis being tackled by Champagne. Northern Drake's only a length away. Then Aerosmith. Markham Tie the Knot. Champagne hit the lead from Anis Mirabilis. Northern Drake a length further back. Then came Aerosmith and Tie the Knot. But it's the mare Champagne in front. 2 lengths to Northern Drake, Aerosmith and Anis Mirabilis. But Champagne, she's got some luck today and the tops are corking. And down to the post, Champagne wins it easily. Champagne from Northern Drake. Third home Aerosmith, he got Titan over the line from Anis Mirabilis and Tie the Knot. Then came next in Catlin opening from Marble Halls and Markham. Dodge never in it from It's All in Fun and Fair Form. 2.3 they've run for the trip. Australian.
The 1600 metres now, and it's Anis Mirabilis bowling clear, setting a fast tempo. He's a pacemaker back home, and he's going to do it here. He's opened up a huge lead. Going to the 1400, and Anis Mirabilis has put 10 lengths on them. Settling second is Aerosmith. A length Champagne, a length and Dodgers last. Anis Mirabilis came back to them very quickly as the McKinnon field swings for home, and it's Anis Mirabilis a length in front of Champagne. Aerosmith on the inside. Northern Drake wider out. Markham is putting himself in the show. Then came Tie the Knot in the straight. Anis Mirabilis the leader with Champagne going up to him quickly on the outside, and at the 300 she puts her head in front. Northern Drake has started to come home well. Then Aerosmith and Tie the Knot. Champagne well clear though at the 200. She's 3 lengths in front of Northern Drake. Aerosmith, Tie the Knot and Anis Mirabilis, and Champagne a sterling winner. Champagne beat Northern Drake and Aerosmith. Tie the Knot and Anis Mirabilis, who got tightened by Aerosmith.
Champagne was the toast of the race.
The knot, but the mare from New Zealand, Champagne, is race clear. She's holding Northern Drake at bay, and Champagne by 2.5. Northern Drake second, third home Aerosmith.
I think that's going to...
It was just too strong. She actually worked away from him getting to the line.
She's had no luck this preparation. 3 wide in the Epsom, 3 wide in the Toorak, and then badly interfered with in the Caulfield Cup.
Now, notice Tie the Knot, he's the chip.
Markham, well, they were both similar, weren't they?
Yes. I think she just read.
Fantastic maintenance.
What did you think, Greg, when the other horse, the English horse, went out with a big long lead, about 10 lengths on him?
Well, I said he's gone too hard. I know he might make the pace at home, but that's ridiculous.
But she really got the line, Greg, didn't she?
Yes, she's very good. She's always been a very good mare, and I tell you what, Laurie Laxton, he was very, very pleased the way this was going, and he was very excited. So,
will she run again over the carnival, do you think?
I hope she don't run the Melbourne Cup.
Good luck, Greg, and good luck in the Cup.
Good Melbourne Cup trial, but is she going to be there on Tuesday, Laurie?
Well, I've got to talk to Bob. He said we're going to discuss it, and he said we've got to discuss it. He said so. Well, I don't know. I just hope I hope she runs. I'm going to suggest that she runs because she's got 51 kilos, and she's obviously at the peak of her form now. And
Time's a bit wonderfully brilliant mare. Do you think that the 2 miles might just be a little bit too far for her, or do you need that touch of brilliance now because the Melbourne Cup has become an international race and is won by better horses?
Yeah, well, perhaps that's right, but she's by Zabel, who's probably the greatest staying source of sire in the Southern Hemisphere, and I think that's going to stick with her. The fact that she's got 51 kilos, I think she could be a big chance in the race with luck in the running.
You've got an 8:52.50, a comprehensive win in the McKinnon. You couldn't ask for a better Cup trial. 2.60 Northern Drake, 2.40 for Aerosmith.
Really produce her best in this, and there are a few flops too from...
Do you reckon Tie the Knot and Aerosmith? What were their runs like, Max? Tie the Knot and Aerosmith.
I was disappointed with Tie the Knot. Aerosmith, I think the run from the Melbourne Cup point of view was good. It was a funny race, Bruce. It was a sit and sprint race. It could be confusing from the Melbourne Cup point of view.
Last 8 McKinnon Stakes winners have come through the Caulfield Cup. And
by Aerosmith passing
well, Champagne, I don't know whether the blinkers did the trick or what did the trick, but did you see her extend and quicken when Greg Hall asked the question turning for home? She was right back to a brilliant best yesterday, but from a Melbourne Cup viewpoint, well, let's talk to the panel. The winner firstly, will she run 2 miles, Simon?
I think she can if she gets cover. She's drawn a little wide. An interesting fact that Glenn Boss, he's right on song as well.
What did you like out of the race?
I like Champagne's run. I thought, you know, she's by Zabeel. Like I seen her out at the track on Tuesday morning, and she's really turned a leaf. This mare. She just blossomed at the right time. And
do you think the Melbourne Cup
blossomed at the right time? And
do you think the Melbourne Cup winner was in the McKinnon Stakes?
I don't think so. I'm going to go for Faithful Son. I thought his run in the Caulfield Cup was a bottler. He got caught up in a traffic
to run good 2 miles, Tappy. Champagne was a great run, a fabulous effort, but I'm just not sure that she's not a little too brilliant to win a Melbourne Cup. She seems to be, you know, quite brilliant at the 2,000-metre trip, but I'll be surprised.
Well, Greg, you've been an Aerosmith fan for many, many weeks. Have you changed your mind?
I saw nothing there to make me change my mind, John. He had to do all the donkey work. He took the field up to Annus Mirabilis. Then he hit a flat spot coming around the home turn, but on the line, as the boys have pointed out, he was going as well as anything. And he meets them all better at the weights. He meets Champagne a little bit better and Tie the Knot a little bit better. And I think he was...
Then we moved to the McKinnon Stakes. Last week, we all went into raptures when Might and Power beat Northern Drake by a length and a quarter. Well, the Kiwi mare Champagne beat Northern Drake by a lot further in today's McKinnon Stakes. And Northern Drake had every chance. And remember, Champagne has 51 kilos in the Melbourne Cup. Question 2, how good is Champagne going? Then we move to the last race. Okay, so now you want a cup tip. Well, that's easy. I'm normally a beer drinker, but on Tuesday night, I'll be drinking Champagne. And what's more, I might even shout Richard a bottle.
Okay, Kenny, thank you very much indeed, Kenny.
The Melbourne Cup controversy surrounding international horses has escalated, with Shane Dye and Frankie Dettori staging a war of words today. Dettori says the Cup needs to be an international event to survive, while Dye says for the Australian industry, the Cup dream is becoming more remote.
It's what Australia's Cup hopefuls would like to do to all the internationals.
About it, as it gives the owner in Australia a dream. People buy horses or race horses to run in a Melbourne Cup, and if all of a sudden there's only 14 spaces left to Australian horses, it takes that dream away from the Australian people.
He believes, with the exception of Frankie Dettori's mount, Faithful Son, that the internationals lack quality. Dettori firing back that in the past, the race has lacked depth.
Do you want to keep the Melbourne Cup in Australia and be an unknown race? Or do you want to open the race up and be worldwide attendance and attract a worldwide interest?
It's now
Cup betting plunge this afternoon.
There certainly has, Stephen, and it's all money for the internationals. Persian Punch today sensationally backed in from 14 to 1 to 10 to 1, and I'm told the 10 to 1 won't stand up too much longer either. Faithful Son also backed into 9 to 2, and there won't be much of that left. So Persian Punch now rivaling Tie the Knot for favouritism, second favouritism in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. But of course,
he faced with the unfortunate task of balloting. Put out by overseas horses in this race. We're qualified and we were 22. Yorkshire was 25. Yorkshire hasn't run today. It hasn't run for how long? Now it's in the race. How's that happen?
My horse is his horse from the field in favour of English stayer Yorkshire.
Yeah, so we're just totally pissed off. Maybe they've got the clout because someone's been promising things that they aren't entitled to.
Looking after Yorkshire State, David Burke dismissing possible legal action as unfounded.
When they sign the entry form, they've got to abide by the decisions of the committee.
But Yorkshire was... But right now, a POM in Melbourne is not too popular, Jim. Jim, should Yorkshire have been allowed to get into the Melbourne Cup, do you believe?
I think it's a very arguable case, Bruce. He's a horse who's won only 2 races, and looking at it at face value, he's won 88,000 or something like that. But you must remember that the level of prize money in the UK is very much lower than it is in Australia. He won a listed race at Newbury, and he won it very, very well. He shows potential, this horse. I would see 11 men and 1 lady member of the VRC committee that remember that this is the people's race. It has been for 137 years, and don't take it away from us.
Bruce, just a point. Jim said that Yorkshire is entitled to be in the field. I'd like to put a case for Praise Indeed. Praise Indeed has won a Group 1 race over 2 miles this year. The Brisbane Cup was 3rd in the Sydney Cup. Now, why isn't he in the race, and why is Yorkshire only won 2 races?
No, it's a good point. Damien and...
The favourite.
Damien and...
The favourite, Faithful Son. He's definitely entitled to be on top.
He's a horse who's
This horse, like he was bottled up in the turn, he was really only made to go home for the last 400 metres. Now, I heard Frankie say yesterday that he's going to ride this horse up on the pace and try and keep him out of trouble. But I'll be a little bit careful. If he's a doubt at the 2 miles and he rides him up on the pace, it may be a little bit different story if he's got to make too long a run on this horse. You know, he was a little bit unlucky in the Caulfield Cup, but the only thing, remembering he only had to go home the last 400 metres, so...
Would you love the opportunity to stay with him?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's the horse to beat. You know, he was unlucky in the Caulfield Cup, and the Caulfield Cup's a great guide to the Melbourne Cup.
I think he's going to bite the bullet, Frankie. He's going to go out there, and his attitude at the moment is if he doesn't stay, he doesn't stay. He's going to ride him as if he does stay.
Oh, that's a dead right. For frivolous yesterday.
He might have overdone it, Max.
Give it Jimmy Caddis, Give it Jimmy Caddis, Bruce, I think this is one of the most open cups. We're talking the English horses. What is the best Australian stayer? They're talking tie the knot. I don't believe so. You know, I think it's a very, very open cup. Anyone of five.
That I now
He's 9 to 2 and 8 to 1. Keith, we're just about out. Who do you think will win?
I think Darazari, and give poor Gouts with his broken leg a double whammy. He missed out on the Derby win yesterday.
Max?
Arena, the best form will be the Derby form, and don't fall into jockeys are the absolute worst judges.
Aussie Jim, who do you think?
Faithful Son and Persian Punch to Quinella the Cup, Bruce. I think they'll run the 1-2. And Darazari, Yorkshire, I wouldn't leave him out of your trifectas either.
Hey, Max, if he keeps...
Caused by the VRC committee. Now, the VRC committee moved to Jezebel because Jezebel won the Auckland Cup at 3,200 metres. She can obviously stay. I think it was pretty evident that only for that interference she would have run a place in the Caulfield Cup. As it is, she still fought on when young Muntz got her going again to run 6th. And, well, boys, I think she's got to have a chance.
She's very well weighted on 51 kilos for a Group 1 winner over 2 miles. There's no doubt about that. She's drawn out a bit, but Chris will go forward on her. Her runs have been nice, but it's just a matter of whether she's strong enough, and I doubt whether she's strong enough to tough it out.
Simon O'Donnell's got a little bit of a learning.
Ryan Jenkins, the trainer. Chris Muntz takes the ride. Gate 16. And down on the 51 kilo mark, there are a few chances on that weight. 6 wins from...
Very good, as were her previous runs, so I'm giving her an outside chance. I really do like her form coming into this.
Yeah, I think she's got a good hope at big odds. Now, on...
The mares to run the Quinella here, Peter, and I do think it's a very open field here. Number 22, Jezebel. From number 21, Champagne, and number 2, Faithful Son, and my best...
I'll tell you what, I'm going with Faithful Son. I think he will run the trip in Australia. I think Doremus will push his walking frame down the middle of the track there and run second, and I've liked Jezebel all the way through, so I'm sticking with her. Best outsider.
Faithful Son. I think Jezebel's a great chance for the Quinella Arena. He's a very good win, you say, and the Hind is my best outsider.
John, I think Faithful Son can win the Melbourne Cup. And his performance in the Caulfield Cup, I thought, was outstanding. Old Doremus, I'd love to see him get up there. What a story it'd be.
Prince, I don't think so. Faithful Son got the upper hand. Faithful Son is going a bit the better, and Faithful Son is drawing away on the line to win the Cup by a half length to Arena. Aerosmith has run a cracking third.
How was that, son? Great work, Johnny. We've got your tips. Let's look at everybody else's selections. Well, mine, Champagne 1. I thought the McKinnon run was super. Faithful Son 2, Jezebel 3. Right, who do we move on to now?
I'm a Tie the Knot fan. I'm going to stick with him. Darazari, I think his form leading in. He's just gone quietly. He'll run a big race, and I'll put Jezebel in for 3rd.
Simon Marshall.
Jezebel, Tie the Knot. Slippery, you're going to have to do something, mate. You're going to have to perform. Arena and Champagne, you have to be, Darren.
And mine is Faithful Son. Tie the Knot if he rides him forward, and Doremus and Aerosmith.
Good on you, mate. Aren't they fantastic, these jockeys?
Yeah, well, look, I've got to stick with him. I'll be just torn to shreds if I don't. I do think Faithful Son will be terribly hard to beat, and as I said, Arena was a terrific win yesterday.
Allowed to tip, you're riding Tie the Knot, but what would be the hardest to beat?
Naturally, Faithful Son. He's the horse we've all got to beat. He's just got the class and everything. Outside of him, I'm like Darren. Tie the Knot, Arena, and Aerosmith. We're thinking alike, Darren.
Okay, well, we
came out and play at the traditional call of the car.
The casino boss backing both Arena and Aerosmith to win $500,000 should either get up, but he's not
but he's not finished betting until tomorrow.
Is out to make history, and a lot of people think she can. Number 22, trained by Brian Jenkins, ridden by Chris Muntz. No horse has ever won the Auckland-Melbourne Cup double.
And she's been well backed as well, Peter. 51 kilos she gets in with, and I think this horse has a terrific chance. She had no luck.
Thank you, Pete. It's Faithful Son at $7.70 and favourite on the tote. Whether you like them as favourites or outsiders, Tie the Knots at $10, Markham at $37, number 9. Sheer Danzig, one of the imports, at $26. Aerosmith at 11. Number 15, Peak of Perfection, is $110, and that's only for the win, and $29 for the place. 18, Yorkshire at in excess of $50. Second Coming at 73, Ancient City 88, the Mares, Champagne and Jezebel, $11 and $12 respectively, which is big overs at the moment for Jezebel. 25 Perpetual Check, Bart Cummings trying to win 11 Melbourne Cups, and the 3-year-old Arena at $11. So $7.70.
It's been one of the most amazing betting races I've ever witnessed. If you reckon Might and Power's plunge last year was big, there's almost 5 equal favourites in this race. The biggest money today has been for number 22, Jezebel. 12 to 1 on the tote. You can only get about half that in the bookmaker's ring. Faithful Son has got a few admirers, and then in Arena and others. But I tell you what, the best money's for Jezebel.
Tim Gage.
The massive betting plunge is complete. Jezebel will run Cup favourite. Its price is slashed by half.
And now as well.
They're racing in the Cup, and they've caught them in just about a perfect line. Darazari jumped out well. Faithful Son will end up about 6th or 7th in the early part. 3 Crowns have jumped well with a stablemate, Peak of Perfection. They're both going forward. Jezebel across from a wide alley. Gold Guru forward in the early part. Second Coming up there, Faithful Son, Darazari. Not far behind those runners was Perpetual Check and also Arena. Torfin's Melody up forward, Aerosmith just in front of it. Sheer Danzig midfield, easing back across but 3 wide. Champagne's in about 10th spot early. Perpetual Check, badly checked. Skybow all but fell. So nearly a bad fall in the early part of the race. Skybow back onto his feet, but they were badly checked, those 2 runners. Heading down the straight, they still jostle for the lead. 3 Crowns tackled by Second Coming and Aerosmith, who's 3 wide. Gold Guru 4th, a length and a half away was Arena. Jezebel has settled well. Then Faithful Son outside Darazari at the rear of the field. 1800 to go down the side, and the leader is 3 Crowns by a length and a half. Running second, Second Coming. 3 lengths away, Aerosmith. Arena, the 3-year-old 4th. In 5th spot, Gold Guru, then Darazari. Persian Punch off the track, 3 deep around Jezebel. Peak of Perfection on the rails, and then Faithful Son. Next is Yorkshire from Sheer Danzig, Torfin's Melody. Champagne a bit worse than midfield from Perpetual Check. The hind 3 deep, and then Skybow and Markham. Yippee-I-Yo getting back from Doremus, Ancient City, Tie the Knot. Josh Dix on the outside of Count Shivers, who's last, and about 12 lengths off the lead. Inside the 1400, and 3 Crowns a length and a half in front. Second Coming is second, 4 lengths away, Arena. On its outside was Aerosmith, Gold Guru 3 deep, and then Darazari. Right off the track was Persian Punch, Jezebel in the centre. Then came Peak of Perfection on the inside of Faithful Son. He's 6 lengths off the lead. Next, Yorkshire on the rails from Sheer Danzig, and then came Champagne. The hind has never been on the track. He's around Champagne, and then came Perpetual Check and Skybow. Further out on the track then as they come down towards the 1,000 metres. Markham on the rails from Tie the Knot. Doremus ahead a bit. Ancient City going forward 3 deep. Yippee-I-Yo's about midfield. Count Shivers well back, and so was Josh Dix. 800 to go. And Persian Punch wide up, moved up to hit the lead. Gold Guru trying to go with him. Aerosmith has scrubbed up. 3 Crowns on the rails from Second Coming under pressure. Jezebel behind them, and Faithful Son working into it stylishly with Torfin's Melody. Around the turn in the Cup, and it's Jezebel going up to Persian Punch. Faithful Son wider than Torfin's Melody. Champagne runs into it. Aerosmith looked beaten, then Darazari. Jezebel the leader. Here's the other mare, Champagne. Champagne looming up to Jezebel. Then Torfin's Melody. Perpetual Check battling on Faithful Son. It's the mares, Champagne, Jezebel. Clear from Yorkshire, Torfin's Melody. Champagne in front of Jezebel. Persian Punch and Torfin's Melody. Champagne and Jezebel. Jezebel's fighting back on the rails and won the Cup. Jezebel fought back to win and beat Champagne at Quinella for the mares. Then Yorkshire and Persian Punch close up from Torfin's Melody. Skyboat, Tie the Knot. Then Faithful Son, he couldn't run the trip. Then Darazari, Josh Dix next in. Well back in the field would have been 3 Crowns, Perpetual Check and Markham. Then
to Jostix. Persian Punch has made a decisive move and has charged around the field to go to the lead before the home turn over Gold Guru. Faithful Son is following Persian Punch into the race out wide. Down on the inside then a second coming. Aerosmith trying to get into the clear. Jezebel has joined in. Look at Jezebel coming with a great run at the 400. Persian Punch is tackled by Jezebel. Wider out Faithful Son. Here comes Champagne and Torfin's Melody is coming with her. Jezebel tackled by Champagne now. They reach the 200 metres. The New Zealand mares together. Jezebel and Champagne. Yorkshire pushing through from Torfin's Melody. Persian Punch. Champagne from Jezebel. Champagne and Jezebel kicking back. Jezebel kicks on the inside. Jezebel beat Champagne and New Zealand Quinella. Persian Punch third from Yorkshire. Torfin's Melody.
2 days before. A withering run in the cup. Out wide on the track now. Champagne has ranged up to hit the lead from Jezebel. Champagne and Jezebel come away now from Torfin's Melody. Yorkshire Faithful Son, Persian Punch, then tie the knot late. Champagne and Jezebel. Champagne, Jezebel fighting back. Jezebel, Champagne, they hit the line. Jezebel wins the cup from Champagne.
I've got some risk. What about this? You've won the Golden Slipper and all the big races in Sydney. How does it compare?
Oh, mate, this is unbelievable.
And Chris, the last 200 metres fighting it out with Champagne.
Mate, Glenn's a great mate of mine. And he's a great rider, great competitor. And I thought when he shot clear, I thought, well, he's got me beat. To be honest, I was glad it was him and not a European, but anyway. But, mate, my family at home on the rivers and my beautiful wife and children home watching, I love you all, and we done it. Woo!
Good on you, Chrissy.
Jenkins after Jezebel's stirring victory. Well, how's the heart rate?
Oh, fantastic. Chris Muntz is the best rider in Australia. I said it before this race to a Queensland reporter the other day. He said, somebody said to me, no, he's as good as any. I said, he's not as good as any. He's better than any of them. He's a great rider. He's underrated. He's the best rider in Australia. And he doesn't have an ego to go with it.
You look pretty calm on the outside. Are you calm on the inside?
No, I'm shaking like a leaf. I feel fantastic. It's every bit as, you know, it's fantastic. You just can't describe it.
What about when Champagne ran to you, Brian? Because it looks certain.
Raiders.
And finally, there was one of the biggest plunges in Melbourne Cup history. Any of it yours?
We backed it very early on. We got great odds on it.
Brian, congratulations.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Racing to win it on this mare, it's just unbelievable. It's the greatest thing in my life, apart from my children.
What was your plan early? Connections were pretty happy and they were very confident, or someone was, because there was an enormous plunge.
Yeah, well, you know, I think it just goes to show that I was right in the Caulfield Cup. I think she should have won the race, and this squares up.
Congratulations, Chris Muntz.
In last 50 metres, she finds it and outstays Champagne to win the greatest race of them all. Persian Punch was a wonderful run. Yorkshire and Torfin's Melody, 3 of the Raiders finishing together. And
$12 even for Jezebel. Huge overs on the tote. $4 the place. Champagne $3.90 and Persian Punch. What an enormous run. $5.20. 50.
But others had their hands full as well. Kerry Packer and Crown Casino boss Lloyd Williams are understood to have stripped the bookies of $10 million. That's where the plunge on Jezebel came from.
Again out here, I think the international horses ran pretty well. They certainly weren't disgraced, were they?
No, not at all. They're in terrific races, just about every one of them. So you know, you can't bag any of them. They're very close to the mark, and it does augur well for future years, because these horses, by and large, they aren't the top level stayers, but you know.
Jezebel first on the finishing order. Champagne sounds. Aerosmith had his chance too. I think he might have just felt the pressure.
Rich, a bittersweet Melbourne Cup for the Freedman stable, because the old war horse has run his last race.
Yeah, he's Doremus. He's retired now, Pete. So, you know, that's the last race we'll see Doremus in. I think he goes back to New Zealand on Sunday and lives out the rest of his days.
Johnny, let's...
How the foreigners would go, the Northern Hemisphere horses. It was a New Zealand Quinella. And just behind them, the internationals, there was a good balance there in the end, wasn't there?
There was. Our horses were a bit below par, I guess, if you just talk Australia. Just finally, on the whole thing, both of you men have covered racing for a lot of years. The VRC, the VATC, we've had record crowds, everything seems to have gone well. How do you think the administrators have handled the controversy over the last month? Because there's been plenty of it.
I don't think they've handled it well. I think the VATC made a mistake in their control of the Torpins Melody business. They were tied into a corner with it, yes. They didn't handle it well. They'll be better for the experience. I do feel the VRC... shall we say, gave visitors a rails run, an unnecessary rails run for the local horses. They've got to change the conditions of the race, or they've got to make it an invitation race. It's got to be a fair go for all, not just a fair go for the visitors.
Keith? You know, one of the great talking points has been the crowd, Richard.
The crowd was fantastic, 100,000, and that's one of the biggest crowds, I think, for 10 years. And the whole...
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, no, they're tipping a crowd of about 150,000 next year. Well, that's what Brian Beattie's aim is.
Well, I think
they could get that?
Yeah, I think if they continue the promotion and even increase it, which I think you've got to promote every sporting event these days because there's a lot of competition for the sporting dollar. And if they continue that, I think they can get 150,000.
Goosebumps watching it.
Hey, turning for home, you were tempted to go, but you didn't.
Yeah, I was very tempted to go. I had so much horse underneath me, I just thought, oh, I better wait just a little bit longer in case something happened to be getting home really quick. But it's just a matter of getting her into a right gate and letting her down.
Well, there was one getting home really quick. Champagne, she went about 3/4 in front of you.
Yeah, it's actually funny, you know, probably if I had have even waited a little bit too longer, I might not have been able to out-sprint Champagne the last bit.
Brian Jenkins dubbed you the best for him.
Well, there possibly was, Peter, but remember back in February in the Oakley Plate, he did exactly the same thing, and then after that he came out and won the Newmarket, which is a Group 1 race. So if you can forgive him for his last run, I was just watching him walk around the mounting yard here. He's not the most attractable walker from behind. He just doesn't seem...
Number 3.
Yes, ran second to Al Mansur this time last year and is the Stradbroke winner, only beaten a short head there by General Nadim.
And away they go now. Monopolised was slow to begin. Toledo not with a lot of speed early. Natoir and General Nadim, they're the two that will go hell for leather early from Mr. Victory, and Toledo who's going to get a nice trail behind Natoir. They're coming down lies. Coming down onto the course proper now. They've got 500 left to go, and it's Natoir in front of General Nadim. Toledo monopolised and Mr. Victory dropped out of it. Natoir just in front of General Nadim. Toledo's a length away behind them. 2.5 lengths to monopolise under the whip. Natoir, General Nadim together. Toledo's issuing the challenge. Natoir in front of General Nadim. Toledo's after the pair, then Monopolise is running on now. Natoir in front, Toledo cutting it down. Monopolise and General Nadim struggling a bit, but Toledo, he kicked away with 100 to go from Monopolise and Natoir. Toledo's well clear. Monopolise second, but Toledo's going to be too good. Toledo drawing away from Monopolise and wins it 3 lengths with his head on his chest. Third in Natoir, fourth General Nadim, and last in Mr. Victory.
Geez, a great sprinter. He just keeps producing all the time. He's won a Stradbroke, won the Scalacci, now come on, won the Emirates Classic. Had a beautiful cover behind Natoir and General Nadim. Monopolised. He was a very good runner.
You know, it's not over to the fat ladies things, is it?
And the great thing about this horse too is damn by that horse Toledo, 1:08.1, enormous time, and obviously things are not quite right with the General. Unfortunately, he was a beaten horse about the 300-metre mark.
80 and 150, number 3 Toledo, monopolised $2.60, a no third dividend.
They're about to line up for the running of the 138th Crown Oaks, and here are the tote figures, and Danelaw is showing $4.50, Grand Archway $8.70, Toy Carousel around the $12 mark, Confer $7.30, Carmanet, Rose of Dane $4.50, equal favourite with the stablemate in Danelaw. Then you've got Curio Jade at 25, Apogee Storm at 14, Love to Honour 41, and Zazabel is at $9.80. Jennifer, 7 of the past 12 Wakeful Stakes winners have gone on to win the Oaks, and number 2 Grand Archway fits into that category. She's tightened up about 90 cents.
Rose of Dane, it's stablemate $4.70. So at the moment, Lee Friedman has the first, second, and fourth picks in the Crown Oaks. Could have been. And they're racing now. Curio Jade a bit slow to begin. Toy Carousel bounced out in front of Grand Archway, Rose of War. Rose of Dane forward in the early part. Danelaw's 4 deep around Apogee Storm, Love to Honour and Zaza Bell on the rails. Then Curio Jade and Carmanesque and a length and a half away Confer at the tail of the field. A mad rush in the early part for horses to go forward. And it's Rose of Dane, a surprise early leader, taking over from Toy Carousel, and Danelaw's now up to second around the great Toy Carousel. Grand Archway fourth around Rose of War, then Zaza. They've got 900 metres left to go on the Oaks, and it's Rose of Dane in front by 3/4 of a length to Danelaw. third, Toy Carousel. Grand Archway fourth, Zazabel fifth. In sixth spot, Rosa War, then Curio Jade, Love to Wanna. Apogee Storm 3 wide from Confer, and Carmenesca's last as they sweep up to the turn, 600 to go. And Rose of Dane led from Danelar. Grand Archway 3 deep. Zazabel around Toy Carousel, going up wide, Curio Jade. Rose of War working into the race, and then Love to Wanna and Apogee Storm. In the straight though, Rose of Dane and Danelar tackled by Grand Archway, Curio Jade. Rose of War running on strongly, 300 to go. It's Grand Archway, Curio Jade and Rose of War. Grand Archway on the inside, Rose of War, Zazabel getting out. It's Grand Archway, Rose of War. They've got away from Curio Jade. Grand Archway, Rose of War. Grand Archway and Nick in front. Rose of War can't get her. Grand Archway in front of the Oaks. Grand Archway. Grand Archway's completed the Wakefield and Oaks double and beaten Rose of War and Zazabel. Then Curio Jade, Rose of Dane, Danelar. Toy Carousel next in. From Confer, then Carmenesque. Well back, Love to Wanna and Apogee Storm.
Pulling out wide, Apogee Storm and Love to Wanna have run very wide coming around the home turn, and a beautiful run through the pack for Curio Jade. Rose of Dane led into the straight from Danelar. Grand Archway, Toy Carousel can't get out from behind the leader. Running on well, Curio Jade and Rose of War. They're in the straight now. Grand Archway at the 300 metres hits the front. Curio Jade and Rose of War is coming on powerfully on the outside with about 200 metres to go. Grand Archway in front. Rose of War trying hard. Zazabel with a late run. Grand Archway from Rose of War. Grand Archway for Opie Boss, and Grand Archway wins it from Rose of War. Third, Zazabel.
Oh, Grand Archway, she's outstayed them. Beautifully ridden by Opie Blossom. He was very lucky. We spoke of early before the race about the luck that Danelar and those horses have to have for the wine barriers. Well, they didn't get it. Once they had to go to the lead, and Danelar really had no cover.
Last one, and I didn't think it'd worry her at all. Didn't she really dug in deep, didn't she, really, when you two fillies raced away from the field? Yeah, we got to the front easy. She gawked around a little bit when she was in front, but she just tries her heart out. She just fought them off too much. Would you ever doubt that she'd run?
Top of the straight and still beat him. I think she's a very good filly. I think she's the best staying filly around. Great credit to Jim and the staff. She was very, very fit, and I think come the autumn you'll see a real good horse.
They looked an even lot.
In 240 for Grand Archway, 250 Rose of War, 290 Zazabel, Quinella 27.6.
They've got some form up here too, because 6 of the 11 runners, Jennifer, have actually tasted victory in races, and that's unusual to see at this early stage of the season for 2-year-olds.
It is, and it's great to see these babies here, and of course it is family day out here as well.
It is. Yes, this place to be is the high-numbered barriers here. Real Jester is Jen's selection in the race number 10, and it has got gate number 8. Richard's gone for Testarossa, Walk the Wild Side for...
Of the exposed form, certainly the two here, Testarossa, done an absolute treat since winning there at Caulfield his first start. He looked excellent. Of the first starters, certainly the 10 Real Jester from the...
Tim Gossage standing by with a last-minute update in the betting ring, Tim.
Big go, Testarossa, clear-cut favourite now. They're coming for it. It's a half-point shorter in the ring than it is on the tote, Pete.
Runners have been inserted into the gates, Gary.
They settle now, and they're racing towards the outside. Mondevert just squeezed up a little bit after the start. Testarossa straight over to the outside rail, and also going across with him to share the lead was Real Jester. Back a little bit, Mondevert, I'm not sure if anything's... No, it mustn't be right with him. He's being eased out of the race, Mondevert. And coming down onto the course proper, Testarossa in front of Real Jester. About a length and a half to Cloister. Then Irish J&T. Next was Big Tight, battling away from Gotham Ruler. Running on fairly was Walk the Wild Side, then Charm Scene Land. Cloister starting to give ground now, and well back Gotham Ruler. Running down to the 300, Testarossa in front. About a length clear. Battling on Real Jester. They got it between them. 4 lengths away in third spot, Walk the Wild Side. But Testarossa going strongly. Real Jester can't match it over the concluding stages, and Testarossa wins again by 2.5 lengths to Real Jester. Third home, Walk the Wild Side. Then came getting home pretty well at the end there, Charm Scene Land into fourth. Next home was Prince Ben Barra, Cloister Weekend, then Irish J&T, Big Tide, Gotham Ruler and Geiger Wonder. And Mondevert all wasn't well shortly after the start, and he didn't even complete the course. He was eased out.
For you, this bloke, no doubt about it. What do you do with him now?
He'll go to the paddock for 2 weeks, and then we'll get him set for the Magic Millions, and if he comes through that all right, we'll be looking at the Triple Crown next year.
Well done.
3 even and 150, Real Jester 180, Walk the Wild Side 290.
Might and Power will create a grand finale to one of the most successful spring carnivals ever.
Jockey Jim Cassidy says the champ is ready to rattle Flemington tomorrow, but punters will have to take some of the shortest odds posted in the last decade.
It's been 12 months since he last stepped onto famous Flemington to race. The result expected to be the same. This time, the margin likely to be a little greater.
I'm not worried about whether he wins by a length or whether he can win by 10. I just want him to have as easy a run as possible and a nice hit out, providing, you know, everything going right going to Japan.
But that trip is not yet a certainty. In fact, it's looking less likely, with flight plans a mess.
I think that's
a mess.
I think that's the main worry, is the flight back, not so much the flight over. I think the flight over's been pretty well arranged. But I think obviously the main concern, excuse me, is the flight back.
A decision is not likely to be made until Monday. Cassidy hoping
the representatives we've had from Australia.
But for now, it's the Queen Elizabeth Stakes tomorrow and a chance for Melbourne to wish the champ good luck.
I think the way the Melbourne people have really taken to Might and Power, I think it'll be a big turnout for him tomorrow, I really do.
And what? Enjoyment any chance of beating Might and Power tomorrow?
No.
None at all?
None. Well, what is? How do you beat him? Same thing in the Cox Plate, you know, like if he ever led, he just won. I thought the best tactical race I could, and I couldn't win. You know, you just can't beat the horse. So it's no point me standing here telling everybody I'm going to win the race, when the fact is I probably won't.
The first big shot, there's our Cadbury favourites.
We had to put a lot of work into that, didn't we?
Yeah, we're back here, Jen.
Well, I thought the mares could run second and third. Number 3, Oregon Star. She's racing in great heart. And number 2, Enjoyment.
And wouldn't you love to be having fixed odds betting here and take the $1.30 the place for Might and Power?
Yeah.
Horse, Might and Power. And Jennifer, the crowd was around the mounting yard for 20 minutes before he came in, just waiting. And when he came in, there was a ripple of applause that built up as he got into the mounting yard. It's great to see a modern-day champion.
He really does deserve it, Peter. He's a fantastic race.
Crash back, away they go now. Bulter, in fact, the first out from Might and Power. Bridle Men going up in the centre from Oregon Star, Enjoyment, and New Kingston settling down last. But the favourite, Might, they're starting to wind it up, though. The pace just quickening a little. They've got 800 left to go, and Might and Power is half a length in front of Bulter. Oregon Star easing out 3 wide. Bridle Man 4th on the inside from New Kingston, and Enjoyment as they work up towards the turn. They've got 600 metres to go, and Might and Power will turn for home in front of Bulter. In third spot, Oregon Star, Bridle Man the inside of Enjoyment, and New Kingston as they enter the straight. Might and Power just shifting away from the rails. The leader from Oregon Star, Bridle Man going up on the fence, and then Bulter, Enjoyment, and New Kingston. But the pumper getting to work on Might and Power, and he starts to extend. Might and Power a length and a half to Oregon Star. Then Bulter, Bridle Man, Enjoyment, and New Kingston. But look at him go. He's the might, he's the power in the glory of Australasian gallops. Might and Power extending. He's a modern-day champion. Might and Power streaks away and wins at 6 lengths. Oregon Stars run second, third Bulter. Then came Bridle Man from Enjoyment, and last over the line, New Kingston.
Behind the champ as the idol of Australian racing turns the corner. It's Might and Power, the leader, just wobbling a little bit off the fence. A run on the inside for Bridle Man, but at the 400 metres now, and Might and Power is the leader. Cassidy now starts to give him a little dig in the ribs, and away he goes at the 300. Here comes the great champion, Might and Power. 3 lengths clear now from Oregon Star, trying hard, and then Bulter and Bridle Man. But the idol of Australian racing, Might and Power, let go in the last 150, and away he goes. The champ, the great champ, Might and Power, wins it well by about 6 or 7. Second is Oregon Star from Bulter, Bridle.
To just shake the champ up, and he finds now Might and Power extends. He opens up and puts 2 lengths on Oregon Star, Bulter, Bridle Man, and it's all over. And those anxious bank tellers who might have taken the takings home on Friday night, there's no problems here, boys. Oh, the champ, look at him go. And the crowd love him too. Might and Power, the champion racehorse, wins 6 lengths.
There's no doubt Might and Power can...
Well, they weren't really the class opposition that he's been meeting in the weight for age races, but because of that, they were getting well over a stone to a stone and a half pull in the weights, and he left them standing still almost as if they were nailed down to the floor over the last...
I have, Gary, and I was just going to say to you one thing. I don't mind admitting I had a bit of a tear in the eye then.
Yes, Peter, it's hard to hold back.
Yeah. It's just fabulous to see the reception this horse got. We were nervous in the race. Were you nervous?
You're always nervous.
Yeah.
There's no certainties.
Yeah. It's always emotional, and it's obviously very emotional now. You've got to pinch yourself sometimes when you look out there and you see that horse going around.
Very much so.
We're lucky to be here at this time, really, aren't we? I think we're all privileged to be here today to see him. and we hope he goes to Japan. In the emotion of the moment, Nick, have you got any news on that?
Not at this point of time, Pete. We won't know till about Monday, but yeah, thank God for him.
I think
you're not going to take the jockey's percentage, but we're riding this.
Mate, I take every cent I can get at the moment.
But Jimmy, how good is he? The best you've ever ridden?
Good enough to take on the world, mate.
I think you'll take on the world. I think you'll beat him.
And I think you're dead right.
And I don't think they got any chance of getting you off him.
Let's just pause and listen and soak up the moment. And remember the day we saw one of the great champions of the Australian turf. For once, in an industry that really owes its existence to betting, betting doesn't mean anything now. Those tote figures, $1.10 and $1, they really don't mean that much, because we've had the opportunity of paying our way in the gate today, and those of you sitting at home on television around Australia and watching a horse that you can tell your grandchildren about. Fellas in Japan, Dan, we're all keeping our fingers crossed that he goes over and shows the world just how good he is.
Ready, no. What a great horse. $1.10 and $1. He won officially by 7 lengths. Oregon Star, $2. No.
Just finally, what does the horse mean to you?
Oh, he's a good horse to train. That's the main thing. I've had a lot of good horses, but I think this is the best horse ever I've had.
Jack, thanks very much for talking to us.
The formality, he was very impressive. I couldn't think of a better lead-up to the Japan Cup. It was a smart move to run him in the Queen Elizabeth, wasn't it?
And the public loved it. Look, we thought he was going to be unbackable, and he probably was. But at 5-1 on, that was bet. Then some took the risk, and there was no risk. He bolted in. The crowd absolutely loved him. And I do hope that when Nick Murata sits down tomorrow, that he votes in favour of a Japanese trip, because he's won the trilogy here, the 2 Cups and the Cox Plate. And yesterday he was fantastic. And look, he'd be doing that for Australia. Yeah, but one thing I think we should take into consideration here, it's got to be in the best interests of the horse. I want to see Might and Power take on the world. I think he's a world beater, but I don't want to see him sacrificed just because Keith might like to see him in the Japan Cup.
No,
Japan, he'll do us proud. I want to see him there, but as I said before, I don't want to see him there and not come back the horse he was yesterday.
Jim,
you know, Shadow, I've watched Nick Muratas's reaction right through this horse's Group 1 rampage. I've never seen an owner handle these moments with more dignity and grace than Nick Muratas. I've never seen him as emotional as he was yesterday, though.
Particularly in the decision that has to be made about leading up to the Japan Cup. Just imagine the pressure on both Nick and also Jack Denham.
Yeah, Jack doesn't want to go, I can tell you that.
I've actually taken horses to Japan, one horse to Japan twice. I took naturalism twice. I actually went on the plane with him and strapped the horse. It's a very tough trip. It's not going to be a 12-hour flight like it is for humans. It's a 24 to 30-hour trip, because they've got to fly via Hong Kong, via Taipei. That's the only route going up there. And while he's in fabulous condition, this horse, you see him bolting away in the straight here, and he looked fantastic before the race. He was just covered in dapples. I think he's ready to go, but they'll never change the flight schedule for him, and they're going to have to charter a plane, and that could cost hundreds of thousands.
I don't think people understand what this travel sickness is all about. The travel sickness that Saintly got, and Bone Crusher and others, is in effect pleuropneumonia. That's what it is. Now
the fact is that, you know, there's a lot of things that and I even heard Barty Cummings say that he'd never take a horse back there.
The flight over is okay. Is it the flight back that's the problem?
Yes, and you know yourself, once you get over there, what guarantees you got? They can all tell you what they want to do for you. You know, it's even as a passenger, you get on a plane between Sydney and Brisbane these days, or Sydney and Melbourne, they say 8 o'clock takeoff, and you're not off before 8:30, and the captain comes over and says, "Oh, sorry for the delay." Like, you know, you're sitting there like a you know what, and you can't do much about it except probably walk out of the plane. And what's that going to get? You've got to sit there and be a good boy and say nothing, and that's what.
And I would imagine that the atmosphere when that horse arrived in the mounting yard for that race would have been unbelievable.
It's one of the rare times I've ever seen a horse applauded into the mounting yard. They were applauding as he came up the race into the mounting yard, and were applauding him as he walked around the mounting yard. The horse looked fabulous. I was in the bar, and all the young people in the at that time, all the young people in the bar
had to go out to have a look and see what this champion looked like. These are people that don't normally go to the races.
They were 20 deep at the stripping sheds out the back.
They love him.
Now, isn't that a key? You just said the young people, and this is what it's all about in promotion, marketing of...
Cassidy could be in for a big day. He's also riding equal favourite Basile Bay in the Emirates Stakes.
He was probably unlucky not to win the Epsom at the mile, so I don't see the mile being a risk to him tomorrow, and you've seen what he done here the other day, so if he has any luck in running, he's the one they've got to beat, I think.
The hardest to beat, Buster Jones from the luckless Lee Friedman barn.
His win at Caulfield was very good. He's got there's a big boom on him. There's probably more of a boom on him than Basile Bay, which is nice. Takes a bit of pressure off me, but I don't mind a bit of pressure.
Anthony Mithen,
Buster Jones beat Blazing Steel.
We bought him in New Zealand as a stayer, and you know, we thought he'd run 2 miles on his form in New Zealand, but it appears as though he's going to be a sprinter miler because we've restricted him to the
English type of horses.
Basile Bay is the favourite. Dan Malicki, take us right through the totes.
$14 for Iron Horse, $11 Rustic Dream. Basile Bay the favourite, $3.10, $3.90 for Buster Jones. Big odds for Blazing Steel and Mushtak. Saboom at big odds. He's been a wonderful local horse in Victoria. Pleasure Giver $16, Pursuit 16, and big odds for the 12 and 13s are poor, kept very safe at $11. Okay, it's the ring that really...
For the top weight Iron Horse and also Rustic Dream. And for number 11 Pursuits as well, it's got a few admirers at good each way odds, but there's been no money at all for Buster Jones. Very surprisingly, they're a big betting stable, no money at all. Best back clearly is the favourite, number 4, Basile Bay, about a quarter of the point shorter in the ring than it is on the tote at the moment.
Jimmy Cassidy has already given us... And most people think it's either going to be Buster Jones or Basile Bay to join the honour roll. There are our captain
now. Basile Bay jumped well over on the inside of Irish Air. Umram in third spot early. Lundalosi from a wide alley going forward from Saboom. And then Mushtak getting back to midfield. Buster Jones and then Pursuits. Behind those was Iron Giver and Blazing Steel at the rear. Basile Bay in front, and he's clear by 3 lengths. Lundalosi running second at the 800. 2 lengths to Sir Boom on the outside of Irish Air. Another 2 lengths to Umram. Then Mushtak and Buster Jones about 8 lengths off the lead. Next was Poor. Corporate James around it. Iron Horse lost ground there, being passed by Blazing Steel and Pleasure Giver and Pursuits back to third last. Basile Bay away from the rails. Turns into the straight by 3 lengths to Irish Air. Mushtak going back to the inside, then Lundalosi. Buster Jones is into the clear and he's making ground, and then came Saboom. Basile Bay a big leader, 300 to go. Buster Jones is after him. He's 4 lengths astern though. Then came Mushtak Pursuits. Basile Bay a big leader, 4 lengths in front of Buster Jones. Then Mushtak and Pursuits. Wide's a Poor, Pleasure Giver, but Basile Bay a big leader. Buster Jones 3 lengths away. It's all Basile Bay, and Basile Bay beats Buster Jones comfortably. Great go third, give it to Pursuits in front of Irish Air, Umram and Mushtak. Then Rustic Dream and Poor, Corporate James, Pleasure Giver. Then Sir Boom and Blazing Steel. Towards the tail, Lundalosi, and poor old Iron Horse. He had a tough run and weakened right out of it.
500 metres and Basile Bay about 3 lengths in front of Lundalosi, followed by Irish Air, and now Buster Jones is starting to come home well down the outside, and Mushtak on the fence at the 300, and Basile Bay with a good lead. Cassidy pulled the whip. He's about 4 or 5 lengths in front of Buster Jones. Mushtak down on the inside, and then came Zerpur, but Basile Bay is full of running, 100 metres to go. Rolls back to the inside, but he's 4 in front. Buster Jones trying hard, but Basile Bay, a star in the making, beats Buster Jones by 3 lengths. Pursuits grab third, I'd say, from Irish Air.
Make sure what could be Myton Power's toughest rival in next year's Cox Plate. Show what he's capable of. Cassidy all the way again on Basile Bay.
But Basile Bay at the 200-metre mark. He's 3 in front. Trying hard as Buster Jones, then Mushtak. Pursuits from a long way back from Irish Air. Basile Bay ducking back to the fence, but he's a mile in front. He's home in the stakes. Basile Bay by 3 lengths to Buster Jones.
A race like the Caulfield Cup next year, or maybe even the Cox Plate, wouldn't be out of his line.
Part of a Cassidy.
Jimmy's run in the Epsom was enormous, wasn't it?
Biggest certainly beat I've seen for a long time, mate. Should have bolted in.
Yeah, and Jim...
Perry, Paul, we stood in this spot 12 months ago and we anointed him a Group 1 horse. You were right.
Yeah, Peter, yeah, I remember that, and yeah, he's lived up to it.
He's a fabulous horse, really, to do what he did, and he ran quick in the middle stages, rolled away, obviously got the better going. What about when Buster Jones got to the outside? Any anxious moments?
Peter, yeah, you see him working hard, but gee, you know, he had a big break, didn't he? And he still kept getting to the line, so...
Breach, is he too brilliant to go 2,000 metres, a mile and a quarter?
Yeah, Jimmy's always said that. He thinks he'll get a mile and a quarter, you know, and, you know, he's still got the line all right there, so... He's bred that way anyway.
How do you compare him to the others you've had through your stable? Because, gee, I've got an opinion of this horse.
Yeah, no, Peter, I think he's the best I've ever had, without doubt, yeah.
260 and 1...
Yeah.
260 and 150 for Bazille Bay, number 4, 190 for Buster Jones, $4.10 Pursuits, Quinella $4.60.
Thursday night, and so did Max, and you declared Bazille Bay. You'd been talking to Jim, I know, but he was just so confident, wasn't he?
Well, he's the best miler in Australia, Bazille Bay, and he proved that yesterday. Buster Jones is a very good horse. Bazille Bay towelled him yesterday. This horse could rise to Cox Plate heights. He could even, perhaps...
Someone showed you a tape of Bazille Bay's 3 Flemington runs and nothing else. You'd say this is one of the super horses of the turf, wouldn't you?
Yes, as long as they didn't show me some of his Sydney runs, because
he's better here. Well, I say here, I'm in Sydney.
There is no doubt he's better.
Max is the same, you know, isn't he? He improves legs.
That is the performance of a top-class handicapper. Mention him in the same category as Might and Power. Bruce, you might, I won't.
I didn't. Keith did, but I think it's titillating. I'd like to know where Jimmy thinks they come together. Over a mile, you know, wait for age. Bazille Bay would be some chance.
Bruce, it's a matter of what Might and Power is trained for.
No doubt, no doubt.
But, you know, if he was trained for a mile, but he's an outstanding racehorse.
Well, I'll give you a more interesting one. Toledo versus Bazille Bay, 1400 in Hong Kong, both at their top. Who would you back out of those 2 horses?
Oh, Bazille by 5.
I reckon Toledo beat him, Keith. At 7 furlongs, there I am.
Your judgment hasn't improved.
He won the Stradbroke Toledo. No, it probably hasn't. Probably a lot better than it was on Friday morning. Max, Toledo versus Bazille Bay.
2 to 1, 1400 metres Toledo.
I can have 2s.
No, I'm with you. We outvote him 2 to 1, and 5 lengths, well, I don't know what he was drinking last night.
Awesome.
Not him at all, no, not at all.
Buster Jones, Richard, I thought his run was still terrific.
Yeah, it was a good run. He gave Bazille Bay a very big start in the at the corner and took a bit of ground off him, but all honours with the winner. It's a brilliant win.
Connections of Bazille Bay hoping for a Cox Plate win next year? I mean, how do you see him as a Cox Plate sort of potential?
I know they gave me a bit of a canning on television at Bazille Bay because I said that I thought he was a bit of a... Well, he's a bit of a, hard goer in a race, and I think I said a mad puller, which might have been a bit colourful, but he has brought himself undone a couple of times in races by going too hard under the jockey, and, we were sort of hoping he'd do it again, but he did relax in front. I don't know. I don't quite know what the owner...
The horse Might and Power will not contest the $4.2 million Japan Cup later this month. As expected, owner Nick Moratis balked at the trip, believing his horse's health could be at risk. Might and Power will now be spelled and return in the autumn for a crack at the Australian Cup.
One of the most difficult decisions I've had to make in my life. I understand the consequences of all, but the main thing was that I've always said the horse was my main concern, the safety of the horse.
With Might and Power only recently recovered from a virus, Moriartis wasn't prepared to risk a gruelling return flight from Japan, not even for a share of the $4.2 million prize money.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, you know? So I've always believed in it's better to be sure than sorry later.
He made his decision
by moving the race to its late October meeting and hailed the change a great success. Favourite this year was the magnificently bred 3-year-old Dance, a $650,000 yearling by Danehill from classic winner Archer's Delight. And his main danger looked to be the sleek black mare, Foxwood, from the Matamata yard of Roger James and Lance Noble.
Dance Foxwood's gone up to him very quickly. Foxwood on the outside, Dance on the inside. She's got the head in front, Foxwood. She's got a half length, on Dance, who's in pretty tight quarters, looking to come again. And then White Taharua, Foxwood a length, 2 lengths in front on Dance. White Taharua running on any more corner than Wolfgang, but brilliant. The second Group 1 win to Foxwood.
Foxwood's win against the Colts in last season's New Zealand 2,000 guineas at Riccarton brought with it a weight of expectation, which this victory should have satisfied. This lovely black mare is by the ever-reliable Waikato stud stallion Centane from Delia's Choice. A sister classic countdown begins in Christchurch at the spacious Riccarton circuit on the Saturday after the Melbourne Cup. The favourite for the 1,000 guineas was Pace Invader, a granddaughter of Sir Tristram's 1982 Victoria Derby winner, Grosvenor.
It was followed then by Train Spotting back on the inside of those to Mines of Wine, Xenabel, and over on the inside to Iguasu's got a lot of work to do. Royal passes out the back, Nahayan's back there with it, so's Morgan Glory, and they swing for home, 500 metres to go. Hot favourite Pace Invader leads the Guineas field into the straight, out by 2 to 3 lengths now. Shanti Rose still on the rail, and Can See and Xenabel coming out of it, and Nahayan coming from the back with a huge run. Also My Babes trying to unwind and further out Savannah Express, but as they race down at the moment the favourite Pace Invader, here comes Nahayan with a big run running a bit greenly, and it's going to only be second as they go to the post. Pace Invader holds and wins the Guineas well from Nahayan.
Pace Invader is by the Grosvenor horse Westminster, a top-class sprinter miler in both Australia, and placed third behind champions Superimpose and Shaftesbury Avenue in the Doncaster of 1990. After running the classy Foxwood so close in the Wait for Age Captain Cook Stakes, Dansk was a dominating favourite for the Colts Mile Classic, the 2000 Guineas, also at Riccarton. Punters found only one major danger: the race-hardened So Casual, a son of the equally tungsten-tough American import Casual Lies. For this important assignment, trainer Paul O'Sullivan went for the best rider available, the amazing teenager Opie Bosson.
Further back to Tiger Island, and the tail ender now is Night Sky, 350 metres to go, and Dansk powers to the lead. It's Dansk in front from Power and Fame, and So Casual being hard ridden to come after the leader. Further back then Mr. Millennium, but Dansk, here comes So Casual. It's Dansk, So Casual, and still there Power and Fame. Dansk, So Casual down towards the post. Dansk getting there. He lasts only by a head though from So Casual and Power and Fame.
Dansk was bred to be good, being by the breed-shaping stallion Danehill, from an Oaks-winning daughter of another all-time great, the mighty Sir Tristram. Dansk was...
Mayfield Smith stable, top scores with 100 and is $3 on Super Tab. Speedy Kids gets a 98, is $4.90 on the tote.
Sting out of the green?
Yeah, yeah, I'm very happy with him. He's a very tough constitution horse. I mean, he just eats up and doesn't leave a thing. I mean,
Market Sedation is at $3. It's comparable. It's been very solid on betting here on course. King Lotto at 35. Black Bean is at $5.10. We've got Typhoon is at $12. Oran is $29, and Rasprodier at $21.
Off they go. Sedation and Speedy Kids both away well towards the inside. Del Quarren jumped out nicely. L.A. Suez just behind the leading pack, and Touch of Mahogany and King Lotto both began quickly with All Attack over near the outside. At the 14, Touch of Mahogany took the field to the 1,000-metre mark, about a neck in front of All Attack. Speedy Kids with a lovely trail, third on the inside. 1.5 King Lotto. Sedation following Speedy Kids as fifth the fence. Then Dash of Bay followed one to L.A. Suez, Raspride Tier, Blackbean the outside. A link to Del Quarren when they run off the back straight, and then our Crackerjack and Typhoon. 700 left to go, and the leader Touch of Mahogany by a head to All Attack. 2 lengths to Speedy Kids, can come away from the fence now if Paul wants to. King Lotto next the outside. Dash of Bay is on the outside of Sedation, who's come away from the rails. Raspride Tier went up on the fence. Then L.A. Suez, Blackbean coming wide when they corner. And here it's All Attack taking a slender lead, but immediately to challenge it is now Speedy Kids on the outside. Typhoon rallying through on the inside with Raspride Tier. Then Sedation popped the question from King Lotto, and Blackbean is out wide with Dash of Bay there across the track with 200 metres to go. Sedation has sprinted up now to Raspride Tier, and Speedy Kids battling along, but it's Sedation bursting clear. Blackbean is running on well, but Sedation kept going by Childs, and Sedation wins at a length and a half to Blackbean. Speedy Kids third in front of Raspride Tier, L.A. Suez and Typhoon. Then our Crackerjack and King Lotto. Back behind those to finish was Dash of Bay, Del Quarren, All Attack, and Touch of Mahogany dropped out to last. Sedation returns 280 and 150. Blackbean 210, Speedy Kids 170.
And the Sandown track, when you consider that Taraugan the day before and Bendigo the day before that both cancelled, we've had so much rain in Victoria, it was remarkable to see it in such good condition.
Well, being claimed by Brian Mayfield Smith and his partner Greg Childs.
It did it last year with Special Dane. This bloke's probably as good, isn't he? I mean, Brian Mayfield Smith gave us all a guide by saying he felt Sedation was going as well as Special Dane going into the race. And it was the win of, I think, a good class horse, didn't you, Keith?
Oh, sure. He hasn't really been beaten when he's drawn a barrier. He's had no luck with the Ellies in richer races. The
class Little Act Sedation, 13 to 8 favourite, 8 to 1 Black Bean and 13 to 4 Speedy Kids.
Now, we're going to show you...
There comes sedation. I mean, you just don't see horses race the whole way through the spring like he's done and keep producing it at the end of the spring. You know, it's a fantastic effort. All credit to Brian Maplesmith. He's trained the horse brilliantly, but he's a tough little Tassie horse. And he stepped back in...
109 Cup of 1998 brings together a very evenly graded field. Any one of 6 or 8 could win without surprising. Oregon Star, the George Hanlon trained mare, is the top rater at 100 and is 5.40 on Super Tab. Lisa's Game, 98, runner-up in the Caulfield Cup, $8.60.
12, Starbinder, 10, Star Era. Number 3 is Peak of Perfection, 71, Star Era at 40, Magneto, 5.60, Oregon Star at 5.20 is the tote favourite, Prince Standard, 17, Liza's Game is number 9 is Liza's Game, 8.90, Von Ann, $13, support for that. 41 Cheviot, put her in the ring. Bolter at $23, Bridal Man at $30 and Sea Jester at $19. Just finally your thought, Miles, for the running of the Sandown Cup for 1998.
Ready to go. And they're off. Cheviot began a little awkwardly in the middle of the line. Prince Standard and Magneto out in a hurry, and Sea Jester began quickly with Bridal Man towards the inside. Von Ann prominent going towards the front as they settle into stride. Peak of Perfection coming across from the outside with Bulter as they came down the straight the first time. Last year's winner Starbinder's dropped back in company with River Rider and Rover is last, and nobody's anxious to show their hand early and run to the lead. Prince Standard working to the front. Peak of Perfection come across to sit second a half length away. Bulter back at the tail of the field. Cheviot takes the Sandown Cup field to the 1,000-metre mark. 2 lengths in front, running second is Peak of Perfection. A length and a half to Prince Standard. 2 lengths Bulter on the outside of Von Ann. Bridal Man commencing a run. Star Era over on the inside, being followed by Sea Jester, Prince Aluka. Oregon Star's never been on the course, and then came Lisa's Game. Magneto a long way back, so is Starbinder. Towards the end is Rover on the inside with Skybow and River Rider on the outside. Nearing the 600, Cheviot led from Peak of Perfection. 2 lengths to Prince Standard, a length and a half to Von Ann. Oregon Star starting to respond to hard riding. Bulter's pressured, and then came Sea Jester getting up on the inside when they corner. Starbinder pulls out wide with Lisa's Game into the straight, and Cheviot the leader from Peak of Perfection, and they're about 3 or 4 lengths in front from Prince Standard, Von Ann, Oregon Star, Prince Aluka coming home fairly, and Lisa's Game winding up. Still old Cheviot has it at the 200-metre mark. Hasn't won for a long while. Leads from Peak of Perfection, Magneto and Lisa's Game. Cheviot the leader, desperately tied. Lisa's Game flying at him. Cheviot, Lisa's Game, and Peak of Perfection the rail off. This is close. Cheviot in the middle is right there. Peak of Perfection and Lisa's Game on the outside. Great finish to the Sandown Cup. Next is Rover and Magneto from Starbinder, Oregon Star, River Rider, Prince Aluka, Sea Legend, Skybow, followed by Prince Standard and Von Ann. Back behind those horses then is Star Era. They're trailed in by Bulter, and Bridal Man is last of all. Stand by for placings. Last of all. Stand by for placings. 12's got it. Cheviot. A training triumph for Cliff Brown. Cheviot is the winner. Dogged performance in a 3-way photo finish. He's bobbed his big buff head out to win in a great photo. No?
Yeah, and Cliff is today.
Just taken heaps of racing. I think I said to Dad today it's the best he's been, and a couple of times he's been too fat, and that's been my fault. But he's had 2 suspensories, he's had colic surgery. He's as tough as old boots.
What about the young fella that rode him?
Super Tab, he'll pay $43.80 and $12.70. Lisa's Game, $3.10. Peak of Perfection, $17.80. Quinella, $200 in the race.
No, but a great thing for Cliff Brown, you know, to win that race with an old horse. He's 6 years old, that horse. He's had more problems. He's broken down twice. He's had he nearly died from colic.
Yeah.
And he's and to get him back and winning again, that's a fantastic effort from Cliff and the whole Brown family, because they're really family.
$9.30. Bradson is $9.40. Sizzling Snippets $9.80. Machine Gun Tom $10. Let's take you to West.
Racing in the winter bottom. Double Blue fired out quickly with Stonewall Jackson, but Scouts on is starting to gather speed from the inside. He's burning through with Willoughby and also Bradson, and at the end of 200, Scout from home in the winter bottom stakes. Scouts on leads a length and a half on Fiddle Talk. Stonewall Jackson's had a torrid runner. Running fourth is Bradson. Willoughby on his inside, getting a little crowded for room. They're followed further back by Zedavite, then Sizzling Snippets on the rails next of all. Machine Gun Tom, Sentry Blazer, Double
Double Blue with the task in front of him, and De Harvest next to last as they swing around the corner. Scouts on has slipped away from them. Drew nearly 2 lengths on Fiddle Talk Bradson. Willoughby dropped off the speed. He's hard at it from Zetavite. Inside the 200, Bradson hit the lead. Zetavite, Willoughby now trying to find a bit of room coming at him. It's Bradson in front, shortening stride from Zetavite. Willoughby coming through along the rail, and Sentry Blazer from nowhere. Zetavite, Bradson, they split the line with Sentry Blazer. Sentry Blazer, Zetavite, Bradson, Willoughby on the rail. A great finish in the Winterbottom. Double Blue charging home from last, and then Machine Gun Tom, followed by a Harvest. Scouts on a Fiddle Talk. Well back to Sizzling Snippets, and last in Stonewall Jackson. Done enough. And then Double Blue, but Bradson, I think you'll find here, has done enough to score and back to his best.
$10.20 and $2.70. Century Blazer $11.70. Zedative $2.40. Quincy Stakes. Summer Bow $2.70. Paddy Me Lad $11. Pro Contour $24. Westtown is $8.40. Just Todd $65. Penny is $4.50. Westtown $8.50. Paddy Me Lad $13. And On a Swing $15. Let's take you to the Chorley.
Group 1, wait for age. Light off, now on again. Can he create history, Summerbow? We'll know shortly. The gates open. They're racing. He began well. Pennyweight Point, though, ridden out hard by Hokai. The stablemate coming across Old Nick, and Mystic Chantre is going to be nice and handy at the end of nearly 200. Can Pennyweight Point keep going? He set a furious pace as they go to the 700. Pennyweight Point about 4 lengths to the 3-year-old giving chase, Old Nick, and then Mystic Chantre. A break then of 3 lengths On a Swing. They're off the bit. Miller's hard at work on Summerbow back in the field. Paddy Me Lad, Broconteur in front of him, and then Westtown, Just Todd. Belladiva's last of all. 400 metres out. Pennyweight Point shows the way around the turn, straightened up 2.5 lengths over Old Nick, and then Mystic Chantre, Broconteur On a Swing, and then Summerbow, but in the straight, and Pennyweight Point's getting weary. The 3-year-old's about to draw level. Old Nick On a Swing. Summerbow's coming now. Will it be too late? Pennyweight Point's lifting. Old Nick trying valiantly. The stablemates, Old Nick, Pennyweight Point. He's got the pull in the weights, Old Nick, and Old Nick's going to win it. Old Nick scored by a neck. Pennyweight Point. Summerbow might be third from Westtown and On a Swing. Then Broconteur, Mystic Chantre, followed further back by Paddy Me Lad and Just Todd. And last of all in the Group 1 Fruit and Veg Stakes, the roughie Belladiva. Old Nick by Old Spice, trained by Greg Harper for Bob and Sandra Peters, and ridden by Peter Nucky. The late male pick is in receipt of 7.5 kilograms from the stablemate.
And 160, Pennyweight Point 170, Summerbow 140. Quinella 6.
Group 1 trail for 3-year-olds takes place on the North Island at the Otaki track, where the Levin Racing Club conducts its Bayer Classic meeting. But unlike Riccarton, where the ground had been so firm for the Guineas meeting, Otaki served up a slow surface for the season's 3rd major for 3-year-olds.
Withdrawn a length on Carpion. On the inside, the next here, Lord Lindsay and San Sebo. Just Call Me Sir, and Kananaskis trying to move into the race as they turn. Withdrawn Carpion on the outsides, trying to level. Wider out, Kananaskis to Brook, and Just Call Me Sir's under pressure behind these runners. Carpion and Withdrawn, little between them. To Brook on the outside is now starting to run home strongly, and Young Lochinvar from a mile break. To Brook, Carpion and Withdrawn on the inside. To Brook out wide. Carpion and Withdrawn are trying to fight him off, but Terry Jarvis is going to win with Tobruk.
While this result wasn't exactly a boil-over, the Graham Richardson trained Tobruk still sprung a minor surprise at odds of almost 9-1 on the New Zealand TAB. Tobruk is by the imported British sprinter Paris House. The build-up begins with a series of major races during November and picks up momentum with the Group 1 Avondale Cup, run over 2,200 metres under handicap conditions at the second of Auckland's racetracks, around 4 weeks earlier.
Then Del Coronado, Gypsy Soul, yes indeed, Magnet Bay and Little Wizard further back, My Galleon, Emerald, Mr. Touchwood and Jimmy Neat. Rounding the corner, they go for home in the cup, 400 metres to go, and Montreal Star and Native Chief. Crossfire now starting to hit top gear, the favourite. All Manchu Warriors trying to bulldog its way through. Del Coronado kept it in. My Galleon's finishing well along the rail, and Little Wizard coming into it at the 200 metres. Yes indeed, has burst to them. Little Wizard on the outside, and they're followed Native Chief and My Galleon. Yes indeed, in front of the
Cup and hard to get now. And it's Yes Indeed It Takes the Cup for 98. Second at the line is going to be Native Chief Photos third.
Yes Indeed had journeyed to Australia in the spring of 1995 and after a luckless run in the Melbourne Cup, covered his expenses with a strong second to Count Shivers in the Sandown.
So 4 minutes to start. Let's have another look at the tote board for you.
And what a cracker of a race this will be. Chief De Beers 280, Al Mansour 945, Harvey Ladd 33, Sahara Z 15, Sovereign State 12, City Hall 12, Forgotten Hero 28, Kidman's Cove 74. Over we go now to Latin Poet 90, Navette 17, Low Max 25, Roulette 615, Captain
Mick Dittman in the saddle, and he looks terrific. He's a 7-year-old, but he just keeps coming back and racing in great heart, doesn't he, Larry?
He's a marvel, Matthew, and thing like you wouldn't believe.
Well, he won this race last year with the same weight from barrier 17. Today he's got the same weight in barrier 3, so he's...
It's pretty... And they're racing, and Chief De Beers bounded out from the inside. He was one of the first to go. City Hall began quickly with Harvey Ladd, Sahara Z. Low way back, Kidman's Cove, followed by Latin Poet. El Mansour is second last as they go up to the first turn. Last of all, Gold Tooth Malouf. 700 to go. Chief De Beers won't surrender the inside running. He led City Hall, Mandu out 3 deep. Harvey Ladd fourth, followed by Royal Rigo, Sahara Z, Lomax behind them from Sovereign State, Roulette. Then Forgotten Hero, followed by Clear Memory, Lomas, Nevid, El Mansour, Kidman's Cove, Captive, Latin Poet and Gold Tooth Malouf around the turn. Chief De Beers joined by City Hall on the outside. Sahara Z's gone to third, coming at them. Roulette pull to the outside, coming home well, then Harvey Ladd. It's Chief De Beers and City Hall together with 100 to go. Roulette's making up a lot of ground. City Hall and Chief De Beers from Roulette. City Hall got his nose in front, close to home. City Hall's beaten Chief De Beers. Third home Roulette. Then came Harvey Ladd. Nevitt ran home, followed by Sovereign State, Gold Tooth Malouf, El Mansour just behind them. Then came Lomas, Kidman Co. Memory. The winner is City Hall, ridden by Michael Pelling. Number 6, City Hall.
$5,000 at Ascot. And here's the betting on the Oaks from Perth. Number 1, Kim Angel at $4. 2, Matriculate, $2.40. Celestial Show at 6:30. The fillies are moving into line.
Is in front, about 3/4 of a length over Dance It. Back on the inside, Feline third from Celestial Show. Little or no change at the 800 here in the Oaks. Over on the outside then is Never Blue, which has had a charm run throughout. Brave Reaction back on the inside. Then Terra Vega being heeled along. Matriculate's about to go. She's about to be wound up at the 600 as they increase the tempo from Kim Angel. On the rails next, Sayada Ben Shanti de Lune, and coming 4 wide. The rank outsider Muskchar as the Oaksfield bunches up. Dance It hit the lead at the 400 mark. Dance It race to the front. Rigo Rose gone. Celestial Show, Never Blue looking the goods on the outside. Swept up, and here's Matriculate starting to run on. Never Blue grabbed a narrow lead. Celestial Show the middle. On the rail, Dance It and Sestich is unwinding the favourite. Here's Matriculate. She's finishing brilliantly at the 150, and Matriculate hit the lead from Celestial Show. Dance It, Never Blue's runs come to an end. The favourites home in the Oaks. Matriculate races away. Matriculate scored a great win of the Oaks, 2 lengths over Celestial Show. Dance It third, Never Blue, then Kim Angel, which had no luck, followed further back by 1998.
Unfortunately, we'll have to leave you there, Darren. A nice win by Matric.
Let's have an update, and we'll look at what the New South Wales Super Tab and Queensland Win are paying on the first race for Sha Tin. Now, Caetano is $8.40. 2 Strategic Choice at $39. Taipan, an interesting runner. He's going to be retired after his run today. This is his Indigenous is $4.90. $7.30 for Joss Sticks. And Pumpkin at $18. Started favourite in this race last year with Basil Marcus on board, who we saw, of course, who represents Australia. There is a rule too in Hong Kong where riders are required to keep a straight line for the first 200 metres. I don't think that'll be too much of a...
Crowd roars. The gates are back and they're racing. Mazal just a little slow to go. Indigenous in the middle has jumped okay. Joss Sticks is ridden for speed, and Privilege in the middle, Barrier going forward, and Darazari in the centre trying to drop in. Caetano the first of the rail, but Joss Sticks is about to join it, and Privilege out deeper going forward. Indigenous right on the back of the speed, and Fruits of Love has got up nicely. Hands being pushed out at the 1,000 on the hard ground. He doesn't look to be travelling well. Next Smashing Pumpkin to Kira Pop. Mazal is last, still nearly 15 to 20 off the lead. Privilege, the old man in front, past the half mile. He's joined by Strategic Choice.
Choice as they run to the corner. Caetano third on the back of the speed. Darazari fourth and poised beautifully. The pedals to the metal as they stretch the field open at the 600. Nearly 2 lengths to Fruits of Love. Indigenous, nearly 2 lengths to Fruits of Love. Indigenous coming on 3 deep. Joss Sticks off the bit. Ungaro can't go on, and the rest are 4 lengths off, headed by Starbinder. They run the corner, 4:50 to go. Darazari wheels up with Strategic Choice in the middle. Indigenous, the pride of Hong Kong's coming on. Joss Sticks, Fruits of Love, back in between them. Strategic Choice in Caetano. Darazari went to the front. He had a 3/4 break at the 200. Indigenous digging deep for Douglas White, but it's Darazari for Shane Guy. Now Indigenous digs deep. Hong Kong roars. Indigenous goes to the front. Darazari can't go with him, and they've done it. Indigenous and Neck beats Darazari. 3 lengths. Taipan's got third right in the middle with Caetano there. Fruits of Love, followed by Tequila Pop. Ungaro, Multi-Star, Starbinder, Mazal, Smashing Pumpkin, Privilege, Just. They've done it. The Boom Stayer. He topped $10 million in prize money in just 1 season last season. He came in as the horse of Hong Kong last season. He came in as the horse of Hong Kong this year, and he's taken one of the biggest prizes on offer. The Zari at the 200. They had a dazzling mid-stretch drive, and it's been Douglas White to get him home. Douglas has tasted success in the big ones in Hong Kong before. Of course, the QE2
Sky ratings have marked 1 and 6 as the top raters, both with the perfect score of 100. Bazille Bay and also Decorated Hero, the English galloper. Then number 9, Jim and Tonic, is rated a 97 for France, and the other Australian, Toledo, number 3, rates a 96. 1 and 6, then 9 and 3 for the Sky ratings. Now that pool is heading towards $150,000. We're 3 minutes off start time. Bazille Bay with Jim Cassidy on board, $1.90. Rebel is at 24, Toledo at $3.10, and a Tonic at 16, 10 Kahal at 23, 11 Royal Suzuka at 53. Special is at $48.
Toledo would be a selection at the price, yeah?
At the price, much better value. It's almost 3 times the quote of Bazille Bay locally.
Okay, well, I'm afraid I selected him on race.
Better, the gates are back, they're racing, they're off. Kahal missed the start, Decorated Hero no speed, and the American Fitty Dance Parade drifts back off the pace. Bumper Storm jumped well, but the best one out, Bazille Bay. He's driving up on the inside, and he's going to go past with Toledo second last, and Dance Parade is at the tail. Bazille Bay leads past the half mile, 13.7 and 21.7. Bazille Bay with his mouth open in front. He's keen, he leads by 1. Holy Grail second, Aggressive Dragon poised beautifully in 3. Electronic Zone 4, Bumper Storm 5, so the locals are right on the back of the speed. Next, Jim and Tonic, Dance Parade's hooking deep, trying to get around. She's coming 6 and 7 deep with the run. The Japanese representative, Royal Suzuka, in front of it. Decorated Hero shuffled out the back. 400 to go. Bazille Bay let down. He opened up. He had nearly 2 lengths and sprinted away. Jim and Tonic stretching out and making ground. Bazille Bay still in front. He's 2 lengths in front. Jim and Tonic, the French representative, has gone to it quickly. At the 100, Jim and Tonic swept to the front. Decorated Hero, Kahal trying to run on, but Jim and Tonic sprinted away. Decorated Hero trying to make ground late, but Jim and Tonic by a length. Second is a photo nearly at dead heat. Bazille Bay and Decorated Hero either way for the Quinella position. Kahal at the back of the speed with Royal Suzuka. Dance Parade deep came on steadily. Special next with Rebel, also Electronic Zone. Toledo never a flash. Wacky now, Holy Ground, and Aggressive Dragon has run in last of all. Jim and Tonic, the French representative for Gerald Morset, has won it. He travelled beautifully from on this one. $13 for a win on the New South Wales tape, $2.90 for a plate. Just a place a little bit shorter on Super Tab in Queensland. Now Bazille Bay number 1. He gave a big sight, $1.04 for a place. Have a second, Australia have a second, and we've got a pretty good lineup coming into the final event, the Hong Kong International Cup. 2 Australians and 1 Kiwi. Artan at 31, Resper at 9.70, Tycoon Lil is now 3.60, 4.10 Super Tab and 3.55 for punters in Queensland. Now Assam Ridge and $10 for Johan Criff, with about 3 minutes to put bets on. Magellan 14, 81 Midnight Bet, Monza 166, Northern Drake at $4.20, Oriental Express is there at 11. He is at his best, Oriental Express. He is going to really take some beating, even up against these international horses this afternoon. Another one is Resper, who's trained by David Hayes in Hong Kong. He's won 11-1. Gates are back and they're racing. Midnight Bet jumped okay. Tycoon Lil has begun quite well at Artan. There at the outside has ambled out of the gates with the pace, and Oriental Express is away very very quickly. No great speed here as Tycoon Lil and Billy and Win on the outside are working across slowly to lead Oriental Express, and Artani the tail pushed along Handsome Ridge. 800 to go. Tycoon Lil's look to have a good run in front. It leads 3/4. In second placing Artan. Midnight Bet creeps to third. Billy and Win on the back of the speed. Johan Cruyff right there with Oriental Express. Next Al Mushtarak. Monza 8 lengths off the lead. Resford's between runners. Back to the inside is Statesmanship. He looks to handle this way okay, but he's a long way back. Corporate James next. They run for the money. 450 out. Artan for Canine on the outside, but Midnight Bet, the Japanese runner, rushes up. Johan Cruyff follows them. Oriental Express, Billy and Win going back to the inside. Tycoon Lil couldn't go on. Midnight Bet went to the front for Hiroshi Kawachi. At the 200, the Japanese runner in front. Johan Cruyff trying to run him down, but Midnight Bet, the 4-year-old, stretched. Johan Cruyff's coming a length off him. Midnight Bet stopping. Johan Cruyff closing, but he can't get the Japanese, and Midnight Bet win it again for Japan. Midnight Bet from Johan Cruyff, third of Fado. McGallen with Al Mushtarak. Resfer further back. Next then Monza, Northern Drake, Corporate James, followed by Statesmanship, Oriental Express, Billy and Win. They came, but they couldn't close the deal. Tycoon Lil next in, followed by Handsome Ridge, and last of all is Artan. Fujiyama Kenzan came to this race in 95, and in fact, what about the time? That's a surprise. It's come up 1:46.9. Tycoon Lil pressing to the front. They seem to just amble out of the gates the opening 400. They must have run devastating time over the final 400 metres, because the Japanese representative has run the fastest 1800 metres ever at Sha Tin Racecourse. Breaking Fujiyama.
Really tapered off since that. He was world beaten at Kyoto in Japan last start, and it was expecting pretty big dividends.
Australia's greatest racehorse, Martin Powell, will not be seen in the autumn. In a major shock, the horse will be spelled to ensure he comes back as his dominant self in the spring.
$20. We've got Arletty 26, 10 Banner Headline, 360 Referral, 14 Strikove, 21 The North, Irish Air 29. And then over the page, Blongots, here's the Prince Sukram, South Bend, Dynamic Place, 14 Astro Boys, in a bit of money for that, 42 Trust.
I think Juggler's a certainty.
Yeah, you rode him, you won a Doomben Cup on Juggler. You should have won a Doncaster on him there, very stiff when second to sprint by.
Yeah, I think he's a class above these. Yeah, he's won two men.
Wouldn't you love to be riding him today?
Oh, I'd love to, but I just wouldn't be able to even still make the weight at 60.5, Johnny.
Here's Kenny.
Has topped $1 million. It's $1.1 million. So a massive hold here for the New South Wales TAB on this race. The Tui's Villiers. Referral equal Tui's Villiers. Referral equal favourite with Juggler. They're racing in the Villiers. And Gracida and Monopolise drop back after the start. Referral out wide and away quickly also Banner Headline. Irish Air jumped quickly, but Banner links to Juggler outside of Here's the Prince from Tricove, the North, Sook, Ram, Monopolise, and at the tail of the field is Gracida. Before the bend in the Villiers at the 600 metres mark, and Banner Headline rated well in front by York, led just on a length. A later's coming up around Hunter Winemaker, South Bend poised to pounce. Back the fence is Irish Air, Astro Boy, Referral, Dynamic Blaze. Tricove is eased to the outside, and Juggler is strung up in traffic on top of the rise. And York is full bore on Banner Headline, and he's shot clear. He's 2.5 in front. South Bend's out and starting to come after him, and Referral the outside and 2 lengths to Juggler. Banner Headline in front. Referral's gobbled him up, and Juggler starting to sprout wings, but Referral had hit the front. Referral clear now from Banner Headline and Juggler. Referral in front. It's another big mile for Larry Cassidy, and Referral wins the Villiers. Second is Juggler. Third is Banner Headline from South Bend. Gracida, Monopolise, Arletty, the North. Here's the Prince. Then Sukram, Hunter Winemaker, Relade, Irish Air, Dynamic Blaze, Tricove, Astro Boy, and Trust in Dreams last in the Villiers. 12 starts, he's won 7 races. This was his ultimate gold, the Villiers, and he's come through with flying colours.
Can you believe you won the Hawkesbury Cup?
In the Doncaster on a fairly reasonable weight, so yeah, he's got to be a chance in there. A race like
Referral, 341.70, Juggler 190, Banner Headline 245.70, the Queen.
In the $350,000 New Zealand Herald Derby, trainer Ross Taylor engaged champion Melbourne jockey Damien Oliver in a bid to get a winning edge. The face value of the form, combined with the public appeal of Oliver, saw So Casual send out a warm favourite on the TAB at odds of 13-4.
Just Call Me Sir led them in from So Casual, the first to pounce, and pounce he did. He went to the lead, but Little Al Duche's coming after him strongly. And here's Nahayan coming into the clear for Johnson from a long way back. The lead leader, So Casual, Nahayan and El Duche. These three are going to fight the Derby out. Nahayan running about a bit as usual. El Duche, and on the inside, So Casual fights back. Any of these out wide, Nahayan, So Casual with its nose in front, and oh, gee, this is close. So Casual. Nahayan's lost it by running out wide.
Australian-based riders are beginning to make a habit of winning the Ellerslie Showpiece. Grant Cooksley took it in 1994 with Look Who's Talking. Darren Beedman landed it with Great Command 2 years later. And now, Damien Oliver made it 3 from the last 5 on So Casual.
$14 and Sounds of Legend at 17. So Willoughby is the popular one at $2.40 in front of Pennyweight Point at $4.10. We'll be taking you to Ascot shortly over the 400 metres. And the favourite is Willoughby, number 1 at $2.40. But the TAB support for Pennyweight Point has been quite sustained. It's now
Steer. Cranky Ticket missed the kick. He'll be back a conspicuous last, and Willoughby bounced out in front of Sounds of Legends. Cassidy is going to fire Pennyweight Point around the outside and assume control here at the end of 200. And the pumper takes him to the lead. Pennyweight Point races a length and a half to Willoughby, and they quickly drop off Sounds of Legends. The Lustia Stakes as they head along past the 550. It's Pennyweight Point coming back nicely under Cassidy near the turn. Harvey's about to come off the inside though and throw down the gauntlet with Willoughby, and 2 lengths away in the field to Sounds of Legends as they bunch up now. And then Double Blue, Sentry Blazer, Fireband going up 4 deep, got pushed very wide around the bend. Cassidy gets to work though on Pennyweight Point. He led a length and a half to Willoughby, called upon Fireband and Sounds of Legends. Down the outside, Cranky Ticket from the tail. Willoughby between horses, Sounds of Legends come away. It's Willoughby on the outside, Pennyweight Point's lifting. Pennyweight Point coming back at Willoughby. Pennyweight Point, Double Blue diving, Pennyweight Point. I think Cassidy's got him home. Pennyweight Point might have just got there on the line from the fast finishing Double Blue and Willoughby, who turned it up in the dying stages. Cash in the Bank flew home. Climbed that Pennyweight Point, who just refused to give in. It's been a great performance here, coming back from the Fruit and Veg to win the Lustia Stakes. He's got up. Number 5, Pennyweight Point. Ridden Pennyweight Point.
190 and 140 the payout dividends.
13. From 1, 14 and 15. So the rating's looking towards the bottom here. Here's the market. Old Nick is at $17 and $3.90. They're moving in just shy of $500,000 invested for this feature event, the Derby. And it's over the 2,400 metre trip. The ratings are 13, 1, 14 and 15.
De Baptisto, followed by Matter of Fact, Sovereign Halo, Solides, Vindabona, and Flash of Satin, San Sinatra pulled up now as they come to the 400. Dance hit the inside, Nats the middle, joined by Celestial Show. Kim Angel's going up behind them as they turn for home, and Hokai's pulling Old Nick to the outside. Matriculate giving them a big head start. Kim Angel hit the lead at the 200 metres mark, raced away from Celestial Show. Old Nick grinding home. Kim Angel in front, 120 to go. I don't think Old Nick's going to get a no. Kim Angel, she's burst away a brilliant win. She's racing away to score a fantastic win in the Derby. Kim Angel won it by 2 lengths over Old Nick. Matriculates run third. 3 or 4 lengths to Solides, Celestial Show. Followed home by Young Lang Syne, Moonrise, Sovereign Halo, Baptisto, Vindabona, Nat. Kim Angel, trained by Paula Wag, ridden by Paul Harvey, has won the Derby. Number 13, Kim Angel, the filly who was unlucky in the Oaks. Beautiful.
The Derby, sponsored by Smales Jewellers, a Group 1 event. Won in 1997.
They're currently on their way around to the stalls at the mile mark. And here's the latest betting. Number 1, Summer Bow, is now $10. Number 2, Jack's All Better, is reading out at 21. A well-tried customer at the Ascot track, Jack's All Better, he's won 16 narrowly at the hands of Pennyweight Point the last time they met. Double Blue is $7. There was only about a half head between them on that occasion, and Pennyweight Point is the raging favourite at $2.80 and a lot 2. Machine Gun Tom is $23. Ned's Brother at
5. Pennyweight Point at $2.60 and $1.60 for the place. Off in the railway. Play Dice from the inside won the start over Pennyweight Point. Jack's Or Better broke quickly. And over on the outside, Ned's Brother is starting to rush forward. The rider of Play Dice put the brakes on the first turn, and Cassidy's going to lead on Pennyweight Point. Ned last, Cranky Ticket, the grey foreman, and all the aces last of all. About 15 lengths off the leader. Cassidy's put the brakes on at the 900. Pennyweight Point, the leader. About a length and a half to Ned's Brother. Over on the inside, third, Play Dice enjoying a perfect run. Jack's Or Better fourth. Then a break of 2 2.5 lengths to Tool Time, going nicely for Brown on the inside of Summer Bow. On a swing, Double Blue together, about to be joined by Machine Gun Tom, being allowed to slide up into the race. 3 deep at the 600 from Cash in the Bank. On the inside next is Padnor, Sentry Blazer, Umar being caught wide near the turn. They're followed by all the aces, starting his run third last ahead of Cranky Ticket. Forget about Foreman. Cassidy's got a firm hold of Pennyweight Point around the turn from Ned's Brother in the middle, and Jack Sorbetter's going up to have a shot at them around the turn. Jack Sorbetta put his nose in front. The pumpers having to get to work on Pennyweight Point. Ned's Brother the middle, Tool Time bullocking clear. Over on the inside to Play Dice, Pennyweight Point, no good thing, and here's Machine Gun Tom. Jack Sorbetta's the leader. Machine Gun Tom mowing him down. Machine Gun Tom on the outside hits the lead. Here is an upset in the railway. Machine Gun Tom too good. Machine Gun Tom beat Jack Sorbetta. Photo third. Padnor flying through on the inside with On a Swing. Umar behind them. Pennyweight Point didn't get the mile. Ned's Brother Double Blue, followed by Sentry Blazer, and then all the aces. Next home, Cranky Ticket. Tool Time pulled up abruptly. Summer Bow dropped out to finish second last, and Foreman the tail ender in the railway of 98. A boil over.
85. Ascot race number 7 is the big one. This is the Group 2 feature, the BMW Perth Cup. The ratings are 2, 4, 5 and 3. Here's a look at the market. We have West Town at 5.60, Rogan Josh 7.70, Jack Daniels 3.50. Over the page 13 is $9.70. And over the page we go again. Big field this one, 18 of them. And they're big odds, the final page 17.
Firm favourite for the race is Jack Daniels, the former New Zealander who's had the 4 runs here in Australia. He's already won 2 races here at Ascot, and his win in the Cox Stakes here at Ascot, and his win in the Cox Stakes was absolutely outstanding. It had to be seen to be believed. He carried 58 kilos under the weight for age in that Cox Stakes. He's back to a handicap today, so he's in with just 51 kilos. He will really appreciate that.
Racing in the Cup. Turner Glow, Jack Daniels broke quickly, so did Boardwalk Lady, but Gwyn Ganner from the inside, hunted out of the gates, is going to look for the front with Smoky Darlin, and also driving through shortly after Half Your Luck. Nice timing's going to be up in the first half, and so's Victory Morn. Rogan Josh settling on the inside of King of Saxony. Early stages, Victory Morn close handy in the lime green cap. The favourite caught out 4 deep, Jack Daniels. He's pulling his way forward here against Hokai. He's probably going to be up much closer to them than he wanted to be in the early stages. They're being followed back on the in, and Boardwalk Ladies laying down the gauntlet to Jack Daniels, and Victory Morn's going to take them both on. Victory Morn, the son of the former Perth Cup winner Fizam's gone to the lead at the 900 metres mark. Raced a length in front of Boardwalk Lady, Gwyn Ganner. Over on the outside to Nice Timing. West Town is starting to sneak into the race with Rogan Josh. Jack Daniels has got pushed right back to be worse than midfield. He looked to be gone. Then Master Touch running into the race strongly, followed further back on the outside by Cozzy and King of Saxony. Then Baptisto. Well back to Turner Glow. They're being followed by In Name Only. The favourite's going to run near enough to last as they come onto the bend. 500 metres out, and the leader Victory Morn by a length and a half to Nice Timing. 1.5 to Rogan Josh, switching around the heels of Nice Timing. Gwyn Ganner's battling away. Harvey's hard at work on West Town. Then Master Touch, Baptisto, King of Saxony's run a bit of a race. They turn the bend. Victory Morn, the chestnut with the blaze first for home. Nice Timing's trying to wear him down. Rogan Josh is next, and King of Saxony first up is starting to run at them. King of Saxony's coming at Victory Morn. King of Saxony's hit the lead. Rogan Josh, Victory Morn. It's King of Saxony, Rogan Josh, King of Saxony in front. Rogan Josh diving. What a performance by J.J. Miller. He's won the Cup first up with King of Saxony. Rogan Josh second, Photo third. In Name Only flying through on the inside with Victory Morn. Then came Logic, Blind Ambition, Baptisto, Gwyn Ganner, Nice Timing, Cozzy. Followed further back in the field by Master Touch, Smoky Darlin. Half Your Luck strikes swiftly. West Town didn't see out the journey. Turner Glow, BMW, Blind Ambition, Baptisto, Gwyn Ganner, Nice Timing, Cozzy. Followed further back in the field by Master Touch, Smoky Darlin. Half Your Luck strikes swiftly. West Town didn't see out the journey. Turner Glow, BMW Perth Cup of 1999.
More from Ascot in a moment.